And we are live. Hello, everyone. I'm joined by Cirrus again, as
Hello,
commentator.
folks.
And welcome to Game 3 of the War of the Ring tournament finals. Yeah, we've made it to the tiebreaker. Our cheering has manifested.
I had someone ask me earlier this week, why does it always seem like it is the War of the Ring World Tournament? And the answer is because this tournament lasts roughly 8 months every year,
Yeah.
but we finally reached the end.
Yep. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and move us straight over to viewing the screen of the players. The names may or may not be right as of this moment because this is our opportunity to talk about the bidding system for War of the Ring. So there are some tokens. I believe they're from Hunt for the Ring, or is it Battle of
That's
the
right.
Five Armies? Okay, Hunt for the Ring. Intended to be used as balance factors if you play the games back to back. But what players often do, and this tournament supports, is bidding. So free people is generally considered to be the weaker side in this game, and so it's how many tokens are you willing to give to the free people so that you can play Shadow.
And it seems that Quadratic, as the higher seed, gets to open the bid.
I believe that's right. And so the tokens, one of the tokens is a free muster on the political track, and it effectively acts as an action die that doesn't count towards having action dice. So you can take a turn without having to take a turn. And he opens with two for Shadow. Ooh, and GoSagan with a quick 3.
Ups to three. Now, okay, and three is taken,
Three's
and
taken.
it makes a degree of sense because free people already won the first, both the first two
It's
games.
true. And perhaps most helpfully, I don't have to switch the names on the overlay, so that's great. And then the other token, just to say it before we get too far, is to draw a card, which is of medium usefulness, but the main use for that is that it can mean that you do not have to take your turn, and you can flop the turn order. So they're both powerful in their own way. Obviously, a political muster can be extremely powerful. Day Without Dawn is a fun early draw. Nazgul Strike is pretty good too for Shadow.
GoSagan adding some color here, a Red Sox fan. So, his life's hard enough.
There you go. Welcome, Feta Cheese. Yeah, it's going to be hopefully a good one. And you can see the tokens there. Okay, when there is a third token, you have to somehow track it. They're probably going to use the Shadow token just as a spare marker, since there are only 2 markers in the game. So while it's on the free people side, it is in fact a free people marker.
To our European viewers, the Red Sox are an American baseball team, a game which is strictly worse and less interesting than your football.
Yes, that's it. Although the scores can be weirdly similar.
Okay, let's be careful now. We don't want to throw too much shade.
Ooh,
All right,
zero
there's the
eye
first roll
opener.
from Shadow.
And plenty of musters. Honestly, good rolls for both sides.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you open with zero eyes as Shadow, you're hoping to roll at least one. Maybe exactly one, which is what Quadratic got. So I think this is kind of the best possible circumstance for Shadow.
I think that's right. I don't tend to go zero eyes just because I think one eye causes more interesting games, but I think strategically it is the better choice for Shadow.
Yeah. You have to be careful. You'll summon the ghost of Rompsteel. He'll show up and
Ooh, a 6
chastise you.
off the top. A
Look
2
at
no
that.
reveal. Surely
It's
to
a
use
great tile for
Gandalf.
Gandalf.
Yeah, I was going to
Yep.
say. Yep, goodbye. It was fun having you.
Now, we should maybe talk a little bit about how you use these action tokens strategically, because now
Mm.
Free People has a choice. Normally, what would happen is Shadow would wait until the very last action to muster Saruman, which would lock Free People out of using that Will of the West to bring in Gandalf the White. But with action tokens, Free People can stall so that they have the last action instead of Shadow having the last action. So Shadow is going to have to make a tricky choice here between getting Saruman and allowing Gandalf the White, or delaying their minion to delay the fifth dice from free.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're already getting to see them in action, so that's a fun little tidbit there. Do you think you wait as Shadow?
Boy, oh boy, I don't know. I know that this is argued both ways. I do think that the marginal utility of the extra die is worth more for Free People than it is for Shadow.
Mm.
But if Free just rolls a will next turn as well, then you have this choice again. And at a certain point, uh,
You
it
do
stops
need your
being
other
worth
dice.
it. Yeah. The odds of rolling a Will of the West on 4 dice is roughly 50%, so you're kind of just gambling as Shadow there.
And all this time, we haven't been commenting. The moves have been relatively standard. Barad-dûr has moved to Gorgoroth, to Morannon, to Dagorlad. So the Mordor is moving, or at least indicating a north move towards an Elven pincer. Meanwhile, North Dunland has gone through Moria to Dimril Dale. So Dol Guldur has not committed yet, nor has the Mordor army. It could still swing west to Gondor, but looks like we're into a fairly standard game here so far in that
Yeah,
aspect.
heading north may have some risk. We can see again some of the utility of these action tokens. The elves are one step away from war already, but apparently that's not a deterrent. We're heading for it.
Yeah, and man, elves to war on turn one. If he takes this last action to do that, that feels, um, I don't know. It feels weird because then you're guaranteeing a Witch King next round if they want it. But at some level, maybe that's just what you do. Yeah,
There we go.
get a defensive Lorien in before they go under siege.
In a way, it could make sense. You are effectively baiting Shadow into getting that minion so that you can get Gandalf the White. I think that is what Quadratic is probably indicating here.
Hmm.
He's
But
saying,
GoSagan
"Hey,
doesn't. Go ahead.
you can have your Witch King, but then I'm going to get my wizard." That's the play.
Yeah. Instead, GoSagan doesn't take the gambit, so to speak, and decides to not get Saruman, or and instead musters Sauron to war. So, which makes a little bit of sense. He's actually still 2 moves away from actually putting Lorien under siege. So, if they get a couple musters here, that could really put a kink in the plans for Shadow.
No, absolutely. So now, what do you do with this will? Now that you're not going to get your wizard,
Sortie
do you
from
muster an
Lorien to
elf?
Dimril Dale.
Yes, of course you do. Yes.
Threaten Moria.
Oh boy.
Threaten taking Moria for a Free People's military victory.
I'd love to see it.
Go
It's a
full
little
Free
brave
People's
for my blood.
military victory. In actual answer, I mean, another move here. I don't actually hate another move.
I'd like to just say that well, first of all, I agree with you. I think that's the standard play, and I think it makes a lot of sense. Quadratic says this is the first interesting decision, but I disagree. I think that there have been a lot of interesting decisions that have been made so far already with usage of tokens and the decision to take the elves all the way to war, the decision not to engage with that, not to get either minion that Shadow is eligible for. A
Yeah.
lot of play and counterplay going on in
And if
in
nothing
their
else,
heads.
the bidding was an interesting decision.
Absolutely. So as Shadow, you're probably buckling in for what's going to be a little bit of a slog, taking these 2 elven strongholds, which are likely to be mustered up
Yeah, it could be.
by the time you get there.
Certainly, Lorien has the potential to be, and he does indeed reinforce Lorien.
Wow. Wow.
So
So
go ahead. Go ahead.
just a little bit of a slower start for the Fellowship than one might have expected from that role.
Yeah. Return to Valinor and Palantir of Orthanc drawn for Shadow. Palantir could be very powerful this early. One I allocated, none rolled. Lots of musters.
What a
and
great role
and
for Free People.
and a will for the Free People. Do you think you spend 2 musters on the Suzerainers and Easterlings, then clear the Will of the West with the Day Without Dawn?
No, I don't, because I think that, oh, I see.
Because then they don't get Gandalf the White.
Sure, but neither do you get any of your, you can get one of your
You have
minions,
enough
can't you?
musters. I mean, if you
I
want
think
to put
that's
your
clever.
hybrid into a muster, you could do both, but that seems a bit ambitious.
I think that's pretty clever.
Mordor continues marching north towards the Dew Line. That's Dale, Erebor, and Woodland Realm. And the Dol Guldur army consolidates in Dimril Dale.
Lorien picks up another elite.
Yep. Lorien musters another elite. So Lorien is one beefy boy. But as
If
you
you
mentioned in the last
don't
game, this
do,
commits a lot of the Elven reinforcements to Lorien. If you want to play a Círdan's later, it's that or have units in Woodland Realm.
yeah, I think it's worth it though. I mean, that army now is not strong enough to take Lorien, and where are the reinforcements going to come from? It's going to take a while.
Yeah. Shadow musters the Southrons and Easterlings, musters them to war again. He is in fact threatening to clear the Will of the West with Day Without Dawn.
There it
I think that'd be
is.
super fun.
Yeah.
Fellowship moves. It's a 2, so there's
GoSagan says bet, doesn't play it, and
and he does.
there
He
it
clears
is.
Day Without
There
Dawn.
it is. That was a good call.
Now for free, this is a single-edged sword. It hurt right now, but now you're free from worrying about those forevermore. You can save your wills till you don't have to keep spending them the very first move in fear of Day Without Dawn.
Yeah. So now, as Shadow, I assume it's time to get that minion.
I think you
Interestingly,
get both.
going for. Yeah, I think you're probably right. And I think GoSagan must think the same, because if you were only going to get one, you would get the Witch King.
Yeah. Elven Cloaks is put into the pool by free people. Okay. Good to get it in. Kind of indicates to me no hyper useful cards, but a blue tile is a blue tile.
Yeah.
And indeed, the Witch King comes in South Rovanian. He's thinking about it. He's looking at the Elven Force pool.
And then, in contrast to a normal game, after Quadratic makes after GoSagan makes this play, Quadratic does need to pass one more time, because they are entitled to use a token as the last action of the round if they want.
Yes, good point. And often the free people will just collect their dice as an indicator that they do not intend to pass.
Yeah.
Dreadful spells. Oh, yes, the dream can come true again.
Man, I hate this card. This event sucks.
Welcome,
right.
Firetoad, in the chat. Oh, this game is great. Definitely check out the Discord. I'll make sure to post a link to the Discord in the description of this video when it's done. Yeah, come check us out. It's a good time.
So look at that. No will for the free
And no
people.
movement.
So delaying the minion, it could be argued, has certainly paid off. There's something that Ira once said that has stuck in my head ever since I heard it, which is that if the odds of rolling a will are about 50%, then on any given turn, Gandalf is 2 turns away, statistically speaking. So, kind of sucks for free people.
But plenty of musters for the free, so they can spend them in Woodland Realm, just making another beefy boy there. Yes, the nations need to be activated because the Witch King was brought in. That made no difference yet, but it's good to keep it in mind. Maybe I just missed it. You just spent a muster die to make the Elite in Moria manually?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. But even then, an 8-2-1, that's going to be a bit tough to take a 1-4-1.
I wonder, just off of that starting roll, mightn't you have headed for Gondor? At a certain point, Dew is looking like a tough uphill slog.
Yeah, I'm a little interested because last game we were in this a pretty similar scenario, and Quadratic passed up reinforcing Woodland Realm, and he's very near to doing that right now. I wonder if there's a playing off the history kind of there. Free is
Perhaps.
indicating they want to move the Karok regular to Old Forest Road. Not only does this make the Shadow spend a full move going to Old Forest Road instead of a half move, it allows them to move the North down. And if they don't get a hit, which is not guaranteed, they can retreat to Woodland Realm, which can actually have some pretty big implications.
Yeah, this move to the Old Forest Road is a pretty standard move. Um,
The other half is, of course, bringing in the Iron Hills regular into Erebor, so getting that tied up so he doesn't have to worry about that seems reasonable. The other move is often Edoras to Westimnet, try and get a head start on defending Helm's Deep. But Iron Hills seems a reasonable move here.
are you
Ooh,
ever annoyed at the fact that there is a space called Old Forest Road and there is also a space called Old Forest, which couldn't be further away?
abstractly, yes. But in practice, literally no one moves to Old Forest at any point, so it ends up not coming up. The other funny one is North Mirkwood is not touching is touching like Western Mirkwood, but Southern Mirkwood is not touching either of them.
I played a game with a new player once who was tragically surprised that Tom Bombadil didn't protect Old Forest Road.
Attacking Dale, no card, so he's
Uh-huh.
either just yep, there is a scouts.
Oh, there's the
Man,
scouts.
the red arrow
Oh
too.
boy.
Man, that's rough for Shadow. But
Free
Free People
people.
still on second move out, having lost Gandalf.
Exactly.
So it's by no means a done deal.
Set up very well to hold, but has had a very slow start because of it.
Yeah, and because the Dale regular got to retreat to Woodland Realm, the North is now at war. They haven't moved the
They
token
should
yet,
be.
but I'm sure they will soon here.
Let's keep an eye on it so we can give them a little nudge if they forget. Still doesn't look like it's been
Thranduil's
moved.
Archers gets played into Woodland Realm, and they do notice the North is
There we
empty.
go.
So cool, man.
Wow.
So you're facing a 2/3/2 as Shadow in Woodland Realm,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and
Uh,
go ahead.
we should point out that there are no more Elven elites left. That's it.
That's true. Just the two Elven regulars that are often used as change and taking hits.
Uh-huh. So I wonder if later on in the game we might see Rivendell or even the Grey Havens become targets, since they can't be meaningfully reinforced.
A Northern elite is mustered in Karok, or at least he's thinking about it. I think that's a pretty good move. Putting Gondor towards war isn't super helpful now. Rohan and the dwarves are not super helpful right now. Start building an army. You already are presenting a problem in Woodland Realm. Maybe you can make it a really big problem. I like it. Now you are, of course, sacrificing a ring move this turn, but that's
Yeah,
probably a good move.
yeah, I'm not too keen on giving Shadow a ring this early. A ring allowing them to set their die to, whatever they want. It just gives too much flexibility to Shadow.
I think that so Shadow has a Palantir left. He's thinking about his plays. I assume that's going to be a Palantir of Orthanc. Yep.
I would think so.
Get that in play. That has the potential to really pay some dividends this early. Palantir of Orthanc, every time the Shadow spends a Palantir to play a card, they may draw a card of either deck. So it's even better than Gandalf the Grey's guide ability.
And free people, if they want to clear it, and they don't want to spend a ring, they can use a Will of the West. But then, of course, they forego Gandalf the White, so there's a competing priority there. Oh my word, no movement for free people.
And no
Still.
wills. And the Shadow rolls 4 eyes. Oh man,
Oh boy.
what an interesting set of rolls we've had this game.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
Free has had 2 moves, 3 if you count the Will of the West that was Day Without Dawn. Interesting. These are certainly rolls, says Quadratic. Yeah, I would agree. Those are indeed rolls. Shadow didn't get any Palantirs, so the Palantir of Orthanc will not inherently have benefit this round. Interesting.
So you've got 3 musters as free people. Now, not usually what you want, but if you gotta make lemonade out of the lemons, maybe it's time to start mustering up the troops. Maybe make Carrick more of a problem. Someone asking in chat, what does 4 eyes mean? The more eyes allocated to the hunt, the higher the likelihood that the Fellowship is caught when they try to move towards Mordor. Now, in this situation, that's very bad for Shadow. They don't want those eyes. They rolled them, and so they are forced to allocate them. But since the free people rolled no movement dice, free people is not likely to progress towards Mordor this turn, and therefore those eyes in the hunt box are completely wasted.
Yeah, and even if the Fellowship does move, they're only a 1 in 6 chance of mattering even when they are there. So
that's right.
Shadow's moving around some Nazgul. Interestingly, puts one in Southrune. I am a big fan of mustering Nazgul once here before. Aha! Excellent. Shadow reverses that, and instead of moving, first musters. Thinks about undoing it. Come on, don't make me a liar.
I'm on your side, by the way. I think mustering Nazgul at this point is pretty reasonable. You've already done all the homework. All of your nations are at war. All of your minions that you can get at this point, you have on the board. So what do you do with those musters? Then again, maybe you just need troops.
Well,
maybe leaders are less important.
But hear me out. Dreadful spells. You need those Nazgul.
I swear.
That would be very funny if that matters as much as I want it to. But
Free has
already mustered one more elite in Karak. The Rangers of the North, or the Men of the North, rather, have as many men in their reinforcements as all of Gondor, and most of the time that doesn't matter. But this appears to be one of the games where that could very much matter. Karak is already up now to 3 elites with another muster. That's beginning to be a real-sized army. Although it should be said that is 3 of the 4 elites that Men of the North have. So if the Shire is ever attacked, we're actually going to be a little bit short on elites. Now, they have something like 8 regulars, so there's still more to go, but still. Shadow did move all their Nazgul to Woodland Realm, and Free is now considering their move. They're currently showing all 3 elites to Old Forest Road. I actually feel this is maybe a bit early, and Edoras to Westamnet is their other half. Go ahead.
It's so hard to know. You know, how often do you build up this big army in Carrick and then it just sits there all game and never actually displays any value? Oh, here's Dreadful Spells.
For only
Dreadful
one.
Spells.
On Old Forest
Wow.
Road, that's interesting.
The statistically expected value for Dreadful Spells comes out. That's amazing.
Boo. I guess it does make a little sense as Free to move to Old Forest Road. You force the Shadow to either attack you and tip their hand, or you take Dale, which is both a closer mustering point. Help unlooked for is amazing here.
Wow.
So Free people has played Help Unlooked For, which allows them to attack the siege on Woodland Realm, while Shadow only gets to roll 1 dice back for the whole combat. This will almost certainly force a retreat off of Woodland Realm,
making Woodland Realm just a nightmare of putting it really up to the point where it can start going on the offensive if it wants to.
Oh, massively. Yeah, with this army, we might have a Free People's military victory on our hand. That's pretty.
You have to know that Quadratic must be considering it because of how slow the Fellowship has been going. If the Fellowship's going to take their time, then the Free Peoples of Middle-earth need to do something.
Yep. To buy them time for Frodo, so to speak.
Speak.
Quadratic's pressing. I'm a little interested that GoSagan's even considering staying at all. You're rolling 1 dice to their 3. What are you hoping to gain?
Yeah.
Interesting. Also, as a note, the Men of the North took a regular rather than downgrading an elite, they had no regulars in the casualty pool. They could have taken it from reinforcements and chose not to.
And they may be anticipating that an attack on a stronghold is in their future, and if that's the case, they'll want those elites later.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. There's the retreat.
GoSagan does
Yeah.
retreat to Dale, which makes sense. I feel it's the only valid option. And that's a 3-5-2 in Woodland Realm. Holy cow.
That's incredible. Very scary.
Very. Although with the Sauron army sitting right there, you either give up Woodland Realm to go a Viking, so to speak, or you sit there doing nothing for a while. So it's, to some extent, it's scary, but it's also not doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And here's the muster of two. Whoop, he's thinking about it. A Nazgul and Moria. Honestly, I would be very strongly considering a regular in Dol Guldur and Moria. Get a head start.
You have to be.
Go ahead.
You have to be careful. It comes to what you just said, right? Is that army really a threat yet? Are they going to go Viking and try to take those strongholds, or do they still feel they need to defend their points? If you overcommit and defend too early, you are giving up advantage as Shadow, and maybe you really do need these leaders.
Yeah. Shadow faces a difficult choice for discard and chooses to get rid of Nazgul Strike. I suppose you got a lot of good cards there. Free People does unfortunately show that they are discarding House of Stewards, but House of Stewards only matters in Gondor, and even then only barely. So in the end, I don't think it was that bad of a show.
Yeah.
2 eyes rolled
right,
for
that
Shadow,
will.
so... but Free finally has their movement and a Will of the West, so Gandalf the White can come in, and he could come in Woodland Realm. That might have
how's
some
that for a
interesting
crazy play?
implications. That'd be
Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it. It doesn't make any sense. It's a crazy move, but I want to see it.
Battle Gandalf. I saw you in the chat earlier, Ace. I sure hope you weren't planning on sleeping tonight. This looks like it might be a long one.
When that will comes up, Gandalf the White is ready to return, and generally returns in Fangorn, but is allowed to show up anywhere that there's elves.
Any Elven stronghold, but yes.
Yes, any Elven stronghold. Usually that is not done because it risks his life, whereas Fangorn is safe. But in this case, with armies this strong, who knows? And I bet that's what Quadratic is considering right now.
Yeah. I think Woodland Realm is, very safe for Gandalf. The only nuance is if he's in Fangorn, he quote unquote turns on the Ents. He allows 3 very powerful cards in the Free People deck that are the Ents attacking Isengard to be played for their effect. And regardless of whether they're played, this makes Isengard kind of stay in their hole to some extent. So you're giving up pressure on Isengard for pressure somewhere else. But if there's a game for it to matter, I would say this is one of them.
I do think that we're not mentioning or somewhat disregarding what I think would be the common play for Free People here, which is, hey, get Gandalf the White, put him in Fangorn, move twice, and then with your hybrid, go ahead and, muster someone to war or get Rohan ready, something like that.
Yeah, either put like Rohan into Helm's Deep and North Downs to Ettenmoors, threaten taking Angmar, which would be funny and not very useful, but funny. You could just muster in Karok more. You could also, and I was just staring at the dice thinking about it, but it's probably worse in many ways. You could crown Aragorn with this roll. It would take 3 dice to do it, which is a pretty big thing to do. And Gandalf the White does come into Woodland Realm, so this feels like the fun choice. I approve. And now all we need is a field battle.
Look at that. One thing you might consider doing with those hybrids is starting some Northerners over towards Rivendell to prepare for that coming under siege later in the game.
Yeah, with the Elven Force pool completely tapped out or near enough, Grey Havens and Rivendell become more at risk, especially Rivendell.
Right.
It doesn't look like it right now, but all it takes is the card New Powers Rising and then Rage of the Dunlendings, and then oh no, where did Rivendell go? So
I don't think we have metrics around this, but I think the number of games where Gandalf the White appears in the Woodland realm has to be some fraction of 1%, right?
yeah. Occasionally he shows up in Grey Havens to turn on the cards Book of Mazarbul and Fearfire Foes, but Woodland Realm is, I would say, the second least common, because Rivendell I could see happening once or twice, maybe, but maybe not. Maybe Woodland Realm makes more sense than just about anywhere else.
Book of Mazarbul is still technically in play.
Yep,
If Free People
true.
has that card, Gandalf can go to Erebor and bring the dwarves straight to war. But that would be a curious choice because it would move Gandalf from that very secure army into a much weaker one.
Yeah, I would think you would probably hold until you have the dew line a little more in hand, or you can sneak it. Start moving south towards Dol Guldur and then sneak him back.
Quadratic really soul searching here. And there's the commit. We're in.
Fight me.
So this means that now Nazgul are completely disabled in Woodland Realm. It's effectively untakeable at this point by any reasonable standard.
Yeah, Gandalf the White's special ability is that Nazgul rerolls in combat are disabled if he himself no longer gives his own rerolls, and the vast majority of the time this is a good trade for the free peoples, and that's why Quadratic puts assume he shines unless I say otherwise. The Gandalf the White's ability is called Shining, at least among players. I'm not quite sure its actual technical name, but GoSagan takes a turn shuffling Nazgul. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure quite why you're leaving. I understand leaving one just so you have the ability to move with a character die, but he started leaving three, and I was a little confused by that.
So we see them go to Umbar, preparing perhaps for Corsairs, and that I think would be a spectacular play because Gondor has done basically nothing. Gondor's not mustered even once on the political track. So
And actually, Biz has a good point. He's also pointing out in chat that
no,
Gondor is open, and I'm noticing 4 attacks here. You can just walk to Dol Amroth with 4 attacks
if need be, if need be.
because he's not holding the card Corsairs, so he doesn't get to teleport there. Ooh, a Grand on Lorien. That's
That's
fairly
brave.
bold. He does get to do a Deadly Strife unanswered because Grand, when played against a stronghold, allows no card for
Ooh,
the free. And
okay.
it's a much better Deadly Strife than last game. 5 hits from Shadow. Ooh. Oh, very
Wow,
bad.
no
Only
way.
1 from the free.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my. Well, that's a thing that happened. Oh, and he draws into another Deadly Strife. That'd be really funny if he just plays that here.
Grand, it turns out, much safer if you roll hits and your opponent rolls none.
Yeah, just roll 6s. I don't understand your problem. Free does actually take the Elven regular from the reinforcements since they have no casualties. I would be a little tempted to just give Lorien take the regular as the casualty, roll less dice. They've got 3 free rounds and it's already going pretty. I kind of would give up at this point, I think.
Right. So, does that mean that the Elven pool just has one regular left in it?
By my count, yes, although we can't see it.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna Rivendell's gonna get attacked for sure.
It feels like it, right? It feels like a very good point to attack. And there goes Kindred of Glorfindel, although with the Elven pool completely gone or near enough.
It doesn't matter really.
Yep.
Does a
Two
great
hits from
cancel.
Shadow against an advantageous position with their own Deadly Strife. And the elves just didn't feel like fighting today. Apparently, they came to the war, but they did not, in fact, participate. Shadow, ooh, no card from Shadow. That feels a little ambitious. I guess he's saving fighting Uruk-hai in his hand for the next siege. Which, actually,
Yeah.
if you have enough guys here, go take Rivendell with that army. fighting Uruk-hai
I
down.
think that's probably the plan. There's 4 army dice showing.
That'd be great. I'd love that. Shadow gets 2 more hits, and Free, at least this time, gets 2 back. So that's a good battle right there. Honestly,
Yeah.
way better than I anticipated that going. And then
If
because
if
Palantir of Orthanc was in play, Shadow gets to draw a card.
if you are free people here, if you're quadratic, that's heartbreaking. That army should have held up longer, and
Absolutely.
now not only have you lost Lorien, you're going to lose Rivendell. This army is still
Or,
significantly healthy enough to
or
go and take it.
Rohan. And actually, Shadow just drew a new Powers Rising from their Palantir of Orthanc, which can go to
Oh
either of those
no.
places to help reinforce either of those places. What a crazy card.
You've even got the muster to pay for it.
Shadow's thinking about where to move next, and they've decided to move south, so they're pivoting towards Rohan
Okay.
rather than pivoting north towards Rivendell. I think that makes sense with the new Powers Rising in hand.
Yeah.
You can wipe Rohan, especially with no Gandalf and Fangorn. You don't have to worry about the Ents. And then you can just
And there's
sweep on
no
through to Gondor.
there's no rush on Rivendell either. It's not going to get stronger, so
Correct. Unless the men of Bree and the North Downs get there, but that's quite the hike. So he's attacking Osgiliath. Interesting again, he has the dice, or at least he's typing that he's about to attack Osgiliath. Shadow attacks Osgiliath. Again, I'm a little surprised he's not going for Dol Amroth.
if Shadow goes for Dol Amroth, free people will be able to muster there one time by the time Shadow gets there. In fact, with an Elven ring, could muster twice. And
Yeah,
so I think that might be what you're trying to prevent.
I suppose. Ooh, a confusion played by the Free Peoples for 2 hits. That's pretty good, and a 3rd hit from the army in Osgiliath. So Faramir has shown his mettle, and gets to retreat to, assumably, Minas Tirith if Shadow presses, which they do.
Faramir, famously the worst victim of character assassination in the films, second only to his father Denethor.
I mean, Denethor doesn't have a lot going for him, but yes.
We won't argue about Denethor
Okay,
here and
we'll,
now,
we'll,
but
we'll save that
later.
for the post. Free People, the Fellowship moves and is safe, so that was their Moria move. So, assuming they're taking the quickest route to Mordor, they are in Moria right now. Shadow has 2 army dice and a muster left. Interesting. Emptying Minas Morgul. Yeah, they're trying to be efficient with their dual moves while they have them. And so the army from Lorien continues to march south. Do you spend this hybrid as a move or as a muster? I mean, if you could dual move Fords and Westamnet into Helm's Deep, that has some pretty strong things speaking for it.
Yeah. Whew. Problem is, even if you do that, Helm's Deep's not going to hold against this. It's too much.
You would think not.
Surely.
You would think not. And with no Gandalf and Fangorn, the entire army of Orthanc can empty. Man, this
But
is
you
this
have to
is
do
suddenly
something.
turned very sideways for Free.
Yeah, and it all comes back to just, all of the brilliant military in the world. It doesn't help that much if the free people is just taking their time. Um,
Yeah, the Fellowship does need to keep moving, and we're on round 5, and the Fellowship is only 3 moves from Rivendell. That can be
that's
very tough.
very slow.
The fastest games I'm aware of that have finished on the server have finished now. Turn 5 is the fastest victory I know of.
Not with the free people ring, surely.
Yeah,
Can they?
yeah, you can reach Mordor on turn 3 and Dunk on turn 5.
Wow.
Fellowship moves again. This time they are hit is a 3 drawn, but it's not a reveal, so there's no special. They requested random, and Legolas is drawn. So no
That's
random
about what you hope
Strider is
for.
first draw this time. Pretty efficient, honestly. Honestly, Legolas and Gimli are the best 2 units to lose.
Yeah.
Quadratic saying,
I don't
"Whoa."
know if you care too much about losing Boromir at this point.
Yeah. The only note I would say is both Axe and Bow and Horn of Gondor are still playable cards.
Yeah, if you lose this game, corruption-wise, look inward.
Well, when it's 11 p.m., I will remind you of that. Minas Tirith is put under siege. This puts Gondor to war. Free People is still showing their muster token or muster die, so they could start reinforcing. They're using it now as they sort of must, but are they going to muster in Gondor?
Shadow playing a little conservatively here, taking great pains to not put Rohan any closer to war than they have to.
Yeah, I think you wait for a turn where you have all the dice and they have none, so to speak. If they have all
Yep.
characters or something, or even just a couple Palantirs, you can really just burn
Yeah.
them down. And I assume the last die of the round is going to be playing New Powers Rising for Shadow. I guess they could play Horde from the East for effect, but that seems unnecessary at this time.
Perhaps, until Dew really starts to go crazy.
Yeah, yeah, I would keep it in my back pocket as a valid play, but I would say in this very moment it's not necessary. We are in the
Yeah,
weird
I would agree
position
with
of
that.
if Free People musters in Pelargir, or even just takes this one turn to move Pelargir to West Horondor again, they could threaten a Free People's military victory relatively easily. Now, Shadow has a muster, which they can use to muster an Umbar as their last turn, but we're actually a sneaky Free People's military victory could absolutely happen in a round where Shadow rolls a bunch of eyes, and he is tipping his hand to move to West Horondor, or at least thinking about it. Interesting.
GoSagan's certainly a good enough player that this thought has entered his mind. Um, this is one of the reasons why you do kind of want to be so stingy with your Elven rings, because if Shadow has that bad roll that lets you go for the military victory, you don't want them to be able to fix it.
Yeah, true. And and while I appreciate this play and I think it's really fun, I think it's too early. You don't have enough. They have a muster showing. Don't don't give them any excuses to muster in Umbar is my thought process here. But maybe the muster not being somewhere else is important to Free, but I don't quite see why that would be. Well, as free people thinks about their move, I did want to make a quick note. I went back through the replays. There is a stats menu that we will not be able to see in these games, and I did note that the Shadow player was up on sixes in both games. So the player that lost was the player with the more sixes, and that amused me.
Yeah, I think B. Hilly once said that in this game it is better to be lucky than to be good, but conversely, it is the case that skilled play can outweigh some amount of luck differential.
Yeah. Free is still thinking. They've moved Westemnet to Helm's Deep, so a fairly standard move. I'm not sure I approve in this case. I honestly
Why
would.
not? What would you do with that?
I would actually consider strongly leaving them there and use your muster token on Rohan, so that when Westemnet is attacked, you go straight to war.
If you have a muster, for sure.
Yes, you are predicating on that, but you at least give yourself that chance. And where else are you going to spend the token on the dwarves? Because then your turn order is reversed, and you can do this half move to West Horondor if you want, to threaten the Free People's military victory after the Shadow muster has been spent.
The pace of play has slowed down noticeably, which is to be expected. I think for anyone who plays this game a lot, when you're in a familiar board state, you can play quite quickly because you're sort of relying on that muscle memory to do what you've done 100 times before. But when you get into a weird game state, which is definitely what we're currently in, it's much easier to make a mistake.
Mm. Yeah, the first 5 moves in a chess game, certainly at the pro level, are near instantaneous, and then things slow down from there.
Right.
Shadow puts a Sauron regular in Umbar, then realizes that would be breaking the rules and chooses to put a Southron there instead. He musters in Orthanc. Boy, howdy, you have new powers rising in hand. I would put it in Dol Guldur or Moria just to prevent a cheeky victory.
I think at this point I do agree.
Shadow has a pretty
But
stacked hand of cards, but chooses to get rid of Breaking of the Fellowship. I think that is definitely a good move here. Although Dread and Despair has some very is a very strong defensive card for Shadow if they need it, and they do not have many cards that can be that.
though the army that you'll need defensive power in is the one that's fighting Gandalf, who can disable those Nazgul anyway.
Valid. Free is up to 5 dice, although somehow it feels like a very long time that Gandalf's been on the board. The Fellowship declares through Moria. Interesting.
I think it makes perfect sense. I think he realized that if you need to buy even more time, you'll need companions on the map. And if they're stuck on the wrong side of the Misty Mountains, that's very hard to do.
Yeah. Interesting. I'd be tempted as Free, I think, to bank the movement. This isn't a real thing. It's one of those things that's true in my head. To bank the movement for a crowning Aragorn, but I don't think that's a real thing.
If you want to crown Aragorn, I think it's still correct to be on this side of the mountains.
I suppose. But with Minas Tirith about to fall, either way. 1 eye allocated, 1 eye rolled for Shadow. 3 Palantirs rolled, which would normally be not great, but with Palantir of Orthanc in play and these cards in hand, that's totally fine.
Yeah, you might be tempted as free people to give a ring in this scenario. I know I would.
To give an Elven ring to clear Palantir of Orthanc.
But if you were going to do that, you kind of want to do it right away.
Right.
So
yeah, it's an interesting conundrum. And instead, Fellowship chooses to move. With 3 moves showing, they're going to kind of try and bum rush. Interesting.
Right.
Shadow plays new
in a situation like this.
Go for it.
Free people's options are to race for Mordor, as you say, or hope for that one turn where Shadow rolls no musters, and then go for the military victory.
Yeah, no musters, maybe 4 eyes.
Right.
And Shadow gets to draw again. They choose to draw a strategy card and get the king is revealed. So mostly it'll just be a relentless assault, seeing as how Aragorn is very unlikely to be in this game. Sir not appearing in this game, so to speak.
If Free People really makes the most of their movement here, I think we're probably looking at a turn 7 Mordor.
I mean, that'd be their only hope, right? So they're just continuing to move. Safe. Hey, that we'll take it. And they have Strider as the guide still, so even if they're revealed on this 3rd move, they can hide for relatively free. Man, and they're holding 4 character cards. You have to imagine at least one of those is an end card, and even though Gandalf is not in Fangorn, they can be played for the combat effect in Rohan, and they are very powerful there.
Yeah.
Shadow has 3 attacks showing. Where do you suppose those are going?
Oh, you might try to crack Gondor at this point.
Crack Minas Tirith specifically?
Maybe. Yes. Maybe you proceed on Helm's Deep.
Yeah. Ooh, attacking fords. I like it.
Yeah. Well, I think that makes sense. You've got new power, so time to go.
And you've got a really good
interesting
card to burn
note.
on Relentless.
You say that we would imagine that Free People has 1 Ent, which they very well may, but the expected number of Ents is still slightly less than 1. We would expect 1 Ent by the time we've drawn 8 cards, and so far, Free People has only drawn 6.
Interesting. In my head, the number was higher than that, but the Theodred at the Fords of Isen, has that for a name, does his job, and inflicts 2 extra casualties on the incoming Isengard army, the best he could ever hope to do. So that's good. Actually, a little interesting that he played the Relentless rather than the Swarm of Bats there. Free People moves again. Fellowship moves again and is safe. Helm's Deep is put under siege by the army from Isengard, putting Rohan 1 away from war. I would presume you use your token as free here and put Rohan... Well, maybe you're hoping Shadow will do the work for you still.
I think that's exactly right.
And actually, we're relatively close to the alternate entry condition for the Mouth, which is all the Free People's nations are at war. If you hoard from the east for card effect and put Erebor under siege with Easterlings only, which doesn't leave you too susceptible to the Gandalf army, you could get an early Mouth, which would be really interesting.
At the cost of putting the dwarves to war, I think maybe you're perfectly fine for them to stay out of it at this point.
Unfortunately for the free, Shadow has the card Shadow's Moving, which allows 4 moves all at once with a Palantir. This is definitely not what the free people wanted to see. It allows a reinforcement of Moria from North Dunland, Westimnet, and Foldfall in Rohan, and Osgiliath is reinforced from South Athelion. And even worse, he draws into many kings in the service of Mordor, even more Easterlings.
I think it's a little surprising that North Dunland went to Moria rather than having South Dunland reinforce North Dunland.
Yeah, that would make sense to me.
You would think you'd want to consolidate those armies.
Yeah, I like that. A Rohan elite is mustered in Edoras. They haven't moved the Rohan token to war yet, but they obviously understand that Rohan is at war from that, so I'm sure they'll adjust it in a minute here.
So I think at this point, I know that I've been down on this before, but I think at this point, as free people, you very much consider using an Elven Ring to move.
I agree.
It's the difference next turn of having to move only twice versus having to move 3 times. And I think we can be relatively certain that that's what Quadratic is going to do, because if they weren't going to use an Elven Ring, I think we would have seen one used to clear the Palantir.
Yeah. He's considering his options, putting an elite in Edoras. I'm not sure I actually like that. The army in Westnet is big enough to take one elite in Edoras. I would actually kind of move more towards one regular in Edoras just to make the Shadow spend a whole move taking it, and a regular in Pelargir. Or even Dol Amroth.
Or a leader in Dol Amroth.
Yep. Although the leader in Dol Amroth is a bit preemptive to me. I like the regular in Pelargir better right now.
Yeah, I can see it.
Because there's no army in Umbar to be Corsairsing.
Well, that's true. Shadow can get to DA relatively quickly sometimes.
It can be a very surprising thing, yeah. And,
well,
come on, prove me right. And he does do it. Oh, man, I feel very good now.
Yeah, it's a good play.
And Shadow is effectively forced to attack Edoras here, just so that next round the Rohan armies don't get out of hand. Yep, and Edoras.
Yeah, as good as Dew went, it hasn't really impacted the speed of the Shadow that much.
I'm in abstract it has, but yes, they are at a very similar amount of points. One would expect. Neither side hits in the first round of no card combat in Edoras. Edoras is pressed. There's the hit, and none back. So Rohan, the Knights of the Golden Hall or some similar have decided to kind of just keel over.
Meduseld, if we're name dropping. I feel like we're in a little bit of a sort of a challenge to name drop as many obscure Tolkien nouns as we possibly can. So,
a judge just noticed that the card draw was undone when Shadow tried to, or when free people undid their muster while thinking. I certainly didn't notice it go by. I don't know what card draw that would have been. Once again, Vanali is our on-site judge today, so thank you, Vanali. Certainly thank you for keeping a sharp eye out. We'll see how this gets handled.
annoying to fix. But
Yeah, if
oops.
this was just a normal ladder game, we would definitely go with a oops, oh well, move on, we get the card back, just draw a random card. I'm I that'd be where I would be inclined to go in this situation, but it is a tournament game, so rules need to be enforced a little bit more strictly sometimes.
I think we can throw some major kudos out to both players who have displayed just excellent sportsmanship the entire time. No one's gotten all butthurt over losing. Everyone's been very accommodating about the small rules issues that have cropped up. It's sort of it underscores what I think is very much the case, which is just how great this community is. Everyone in it, pretty nice, pretty fun to play with.
What they've decided to go with is Shadow is going to keep drawing cards until they get the same card they had last time, which was Many Kings. I did note that, I suppose.
Yeah.
And a Great Host could matter quite a bit. So Shadow, and it especially helps that Shadow is the one we are viewing here. We can, in fact, know that that is the card they had, so they have correctly undid and not just gone searching for Corsairs of Umbar or something like that. Obviously, in a normal game, you could check the log for that. So we return you to your regularly scheduled gaming. Edoras did indeed fall without hitting back. And the Rohan token will need to go to war, but I'm quite certain the players understand that Rohan is at war and nothing important here. There is an annoying thing. It looks like what's happening here is Quadratic was looking back in the log trying to see if he hit or not. It is super annoying that the chat auto increments even when you're trying to look back. So if the other person is typing while you're trying to look in the back in the logs, it can be very annoying.
Yeah. So now, uh, still probably early to play Fighting Ruka. Nope, we're playing it right on time. Okay.
Really interesting. Certainly being aggressive with it, but you have a Deadly Strife, which is, I assume, what's happening here. And there, Rohan
You
has
have a
been
great
taken.
host as well.
So Deadly Strife, and that's
Woof.
Helm's
All
Deep.
right, that's
Goodbye.
that.
It was fun knowing you. Helm's Deep hits 2, no rerolls. Yep, that's true. Back. So the Deadly Strifes have certainly gone in Shadow's favor this game, in stark contrast to last game. And because a Palantir used to play it, he gets another draw. That Palantir of Orthing's, what, 6
Yeah.
card draws deep or something like that?
Yeah, it's been left alone and it's been doing its deadly work.
So Shadow's up to 6 points. Fellowship is 1 turn from Mordor. So this game is going to last 2, probably 3 more rounds. Free People needs to hold on to 4 points for 2 rounds, and then dunk on the third. That's going to be a pretty tall order here.
Yeah, I think you need to make something happen militarily to buy time.
The fact that the Fellowship is thinking about this makes me suspect that he says should have killed the Palantir. Yeah, I kind of agree, but I understand the situation you were in. Um, it indicates to me that he does not have We Prove the Swifter or any of the Fellowship breaking and then go under siege. He chooses to break the Palantir of Orthanc now. Ugh, that's tough.
Well,
Or rather, he may not. He might be
or
moving
we'll
with
be
this.
moving.
That's a good point. Now, strategically, he spends Narya. That doesn't have any strategy to it, but it's funny to say.
I do that as well. Vilya is the mightiest of the three. You don't want to lose that first. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. And he does, in fact, move rather than and gets hit,
All
but
right.
it's for 2. Assumably, this will be a random, but I guess you could just take the hit. But I bet it's a random. He says draw a random.
Oh, it's very risky.
And
I don't know
Shadow.
if I agree with this. It's likely to be efficient, but I think your bigger problem is speed rather than corruption right now.
Well,
Well, all right, it's what you
lucked
want.
into
So
Boromir, so that's good. They will look to his coming, yes. Should we take the 45-minute break now for the songs in Lament of Boromir, or is that later?
We'll schedule them for after the game.
Okay, good. The books are, to some extent beyond reproach, but it is funny when they're like, yes, our friends are kidnapped and being run off into the woods as we speak. Let's sit here for a little bit, and I mean, it's easy to poke fun at.
Well, that was before they ran after the orcs on foot over land for several days without rest. So you made it up.
Minas Tirith is attacked. Oleg High / We Come to Kill is played as the combat card. I suspect that's a little bit to bait out the any good cards that the free people have. I would suspect. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. I guess I was going to say I expect a great host here, but Shadow actually doesn't have enough to enact a great host reliably. What's your opinions on the combat effect We Come to Kill? I often find it underwhelming.
Yeah, I think it's pretty circumstantial. Almost always the event on top of it is better because that's where all of the forward mustering cards are. But if, all else being equal, if I'm well positioned, or if I have an army with a lot of elites, I will play it.
Here, Shadow has 2 elites, so assuming they take none and as casualties, it's 2 dice for a 1/3 chance. So, ambitiously, it's 1 extra hit. The Witch King's not with this army, so you don't get to redraw for it. I'm not sure I even would bother, but on the other hand,
no, I think I agree with you at this point. I don't know that I'd play it.
Yeah. On the other hand, Shadow is trying to force the issue as hard as possible. So if they're able to get an extra hit and bring Minas Tirith down even a little bit sooner, there could be some strong benefits there. Shadow is hot on the 6s today. 3 hits incoming, 3 hits outgoing because of no quarter played for the free people.
Empty, punching back indeed.
Shadow chooses to not.
And then
take
here's
any
the post, and
then he gets his hit.
Hit. Yep.
It's now 4 dice / 6 hit points versus 2. That's the kind of numbers we like around here as Shadow. and you're in very much great host range if you choose to press now.
Yeah, I might save it. I think if you press and you play great host, well, I thought there were 3 regulars left. There's only 2. Yeah, I think probably great host is fine.
You at least have a strong chance. He goes with no card, however. Interesting. Maybe saving the many kings for a reinforcement of the Easterlings. I say as if that was a thing people do. Path of the Roses is played and misses, but so does Shadow. So a free hit on the Shadow army from their press for the free people. That's good. And now it's starting to get to the point where presses get a little bit optimistic. And free has no strategy cards, so they cannot be holding Guard of the Citadel, which would reinforce Minas Tirith.
That's right.
Shadow presses no card. Oops. Rules. And both sides play no card. The 2 hits are there for Shadow, and nothing is there for the free people. Man, those free people military dice have not been kind.
They have not. So now, that's the end of the turn, in all likelihood. Quadratic can still play a token if he wants, but let's look ahead. So Shadow is sitting on 8 points. Free people is still looking like they are going to have to last, 3 more turns, even in an optimistic world, to destroy the ring. So you have time as Shadow, but where are you going to find your points? It's not easy.
Yeah. My main hope, I would think, would be take Pelargir and then take Erebor while the free people does not have enough dice to fight you back. Play Horde from the East for the units, and just dump everything you have at Erebor and don't worry about losing Dale because you have the point from Pelargir.
think the fear about Erebor is that's the one place in the world that Free People has enough troops to maybe do something about it.
Yeah. Although even with a dice roll like this, free people have 3 dice maximum for moving armies, and fourth if they
Oh
use the
boy.
Elven realm. If
Yeah.
you just weight them down to like 2 dice because they're moving the fellowship or other things like that. Oh wait, I just play like 5 attacks and go hit it. While you were busy. I
Hmm.
think that has a pretty strong possibility of being our win condition here. And you don't even need to hold Dale. You can just ignore it and take Pelargir as the free makeup. Honestly, with this, it's a lot of character dice, so maybe not this round. But if you had a lot of army dice instead of character dice, you could go for the Shire too. Do a dual prong, threaten a city's victory.
Most certainly. I don't know how many elites are left in the North Pool, but it can't be that many.
I believe it's one. We had 3 Mustard and Karok, so I believe it's 1 left. Dale and Osgiliath are reinforced from the adjacent Southron armies. Certainly threatening Pelargir, possibly Dol Amroth. Free people only have 2 musters showing, and if they spend their Will of the West mustering, they are not making Mordor this round. So,
I know that Shadow is probably reinforcing Dale so that they don't lose the point if Woodland Realm counterattacks, but I'm wondering, do you really care that much? Because you already have Edoras, and you can take Pelargir.
and that's what I'm saying.
And with the cities, the math works out that you either need all of them or 2 of them. Having an odd number of cities doesn't really help you win.
Right, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. If free people spends their will at any point, then just go attack Erebor with what you have. You even have half orcs and goblin men to throw another elite on top of it if you want.
You know,
Um, and if they march out of Woodland Realm with enough to actually threaten you, then you just circle around and take Woodland Realm.
you could play Shadows on the Misty Mountains here with the Palantir, uh, and then just go hit Rivendell with that.
Yeah, that would be the absolute minimum for taking it, but yes, you could. Yeah, and that's a good note. Shadows draws for the round where on they went, which is the red 3 tile, and Shadows on the Misty Mountains. They're already holding the Ring as Mine, which is the red eye. So they could make the hunt pool um, a good bit scarier for the Fellowship. We've had, what, 4 tile draws, something like that? No eyes.
Roughly.
So nothing too crazy out of the pool yet. It was a 2-3-2-2, something like that. Actually, it's just 3 tiles: a 2 for Gandalf, a 3 for Legolas, and a 2 for Boromir.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Players are thinking. Yeah, Free People's really in a corner now. From their
You're
commanding
really
early
trying to figure
lead.
out.
Yeah. And obviously their cards will matter a lot, although unfortunately for them, they're holding 5 character cards, which almost certainly means that favors the Fellowship rather than the military in this game.
And the one strategy card that they have, they drew at the beginning of the turn, so we know it's nothing that they've been holding all this time because it's very useful. They would have to top deck into something useful.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry, chat, if in case this is coming through, stream is having a little bit of resolution lag, so the resolution's going in and out a little bit on us. It should resolve itself, but sorry for the sadness there.
Yeah, you're not allowed to actually yank out your Ethernet cable if the game starts going poorly because
Yeah.
we'll just resume from a save.
Shucks. Yeah,
So,
often my game plans at this point resort to heart attack. My opponent having a heart attack, or similar.
yeah, oh boy.
Yeah, yeah. Chess rage quit. Just flip the table. If this was tabletop, just grab the.
You
Well,
could,
go ahead.
you could. I'm trying to find the way out.
Okay,
I,
Free, you attack Dale with your hybrid, forcing them to
sure.
retreat to Vale of Carnan. I
Okay.
don't know where I'm going from there, but it sounded like a good start.
So this comes back to what I was saying. I don't think either side, Shadow or Free, cares about Dale at this point.
No.
I think they both know that Free people can take it back if they really need to. Uh, but neither of them should care because they both know that Pelargir can fall instantaneously for the cost of the die, and then Dale is a non-issue. Um, the
And
only time Dale becomes relevant is if it looks like Shadow is going to go for a Four Cities victory. But they haven't made even the beginnings of a move towards the Shire at this point, so I don't know if we're worried about that.
yeah, they've in fact moved away with the North Dunland army. And I do
That's
think I
right.
misspoke earlier. The Fellowship is in fact only one space from Mordor at this point, so they could spend a Palantir as a movement and still have two army moves available. So there is that. But bleh, you know, and they do have two
Right.
tokens remaining, which are limited to once per round or turn, as it's called. I find that nomenclature terrible. But this wouldn't be the worst spot for passing once or twice and then using a token to draw a card, particularly a strategy card, and then being the person who gets to move last.
I still don't think the last points are obvious for Shadow. I think
Hmm.
Rivendell is a strong contender, but if not, or Dol Amroth.
Yeah, but yes, but if you go for Dol Amroth this round by just basically burning all four of your movement going to Dol Amroth, free people will muster there twice, and the army you have is not large enough to reliably take that.
Yeah, I think Dol Amroth would be my second choice.
I'm I'm still feeling very much an Erebor that you try and wait for, but we might not have the time for it. Pelargir is attacked. I think this is a good move to
Yeah,
take the pressure off Dale and to put
definitely.
pressure on Dol Amroth. If the Free People does not start mustering right now, you can start moving towards Dol Amroth and force the issue. Shadow's sixes continue to be hot. Free People's sixes continue to be not. And Shadow is on 9 points. Now, 9 points out of 10 always looks scarier than it is in War of the Ring, because as you were noting earlier, the Shire is the only other single point. So unless they're going to the northwest, um, really it's a whole other stronghold that has to fall
I wonder if Quadratic should have used that token instead of passing on their turn,
for the card
just
draw.
to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to see if you know that you happen to have Imrahil.
Yep.
Um,
And Imrahil is the only card that would reinforce Dol Amroth at this point. Círdan's ships, I think, could technically put a regular there, but not meaningful reinforcement. And with all of the fellowship, I mean, I guess if you had like We Prove the Swifter, you could put the entire fellowship in Dol Amroth and crown Aragorn.
yeah.
Um, but that wouldn't really be enough to do anything.
Keep on dreaming that dream, my friends. The
Yeah.
return of the king is happening any day now.
Well, you saw him spend King is revealed, so you're safe.
That's right. That's right.
That's because that's the problem with crowning Aragorn is the card King is revealed. Um, Free people taking their time
Man,
thinking,
how
very fair indeed. And the Palantir of Orthanc is still in play. Shadow has a Palantir showing. They can just spend it on half orcs, spend it on many kings, spend it on a red tile, and redraw for another
last
strategy
thing.
card. Yep, Shadow's going to force the issue. They are forced to leave a
Could
regular behind.
could Quadratic have top decked Imrahil?
That would have been great for him.
I just otherwise you would think you would have used a muster there.
I think he's just feeling short on musters. But I understand the point. Yeah.
But he loses if
You
Dalaamroth
know,
falls.
valid. I do think there is a minor strategic mistake here. Shadow left a Southron and a Sauron unit in Pelargir, leaving himself open to Spirits of Mordor. Normally, this would be not a
Sure.
thing, but 5 dice on 5s? That could kill that, and then the West Rondor unit takes Pelargir, and then you're actually kind of in a bit of a pickle.
Spirits of Mordor, famously the free people's dreadful spells.
Yeah, yes. Not that dissimilar. All right, free people, do you have Imrahil? He's typing, which makes me
That
suspect
would
that
be
he does.
crazy. I hope he does.
That or we prove the swifter.
Someone needs to do something
Ooh,
about all
or
these
Spirit of
orcs.
Mordor on Dol Amroth. Actually, wouldn't be that bad either.
I mean, it would be pretty bad because it wouldn't hit, and then you would have wasted the card.
Yep,
Oh
Gwai
no,
here.
it's
Yep.
Gwai here! My goodness, are
So
you?
this
Is your dream about to come true?
certainly Gimli.
Is that actually where we are?
So Gwai here allows a couple of members to leave the Fellowship and go. Is it two? Is it four? As if their movement was four, but they have
As if
five
their movement
movement
was
showing.
four.
So they could
So that's
effectively go
9
anywhere.
spaces.
Is it
Yeah,
anywhere on
just
the
about
map? They
anywhere on the
can't
map.
reach.
Probably far western area door, I think.
Yeah, one, two,
I
three. Nope, they can go literally anywhere.
I really like the Wom version of this, which allows you to ignore mountain ranges
Oh
because you're
yeah,
flying. Gwaihir being the chief of the Eagles.
no, yeah, that's a good point. To go to the west, they would have to go through Moria and have to stop. So you're right. The west is off limits to them because they cannot fly over mountains. That was always one of
But you
the silly rules in the book to me is the Nazgul and Gwaihir cannot fly over mountains. The Nazgul in particular, it says they cannot go over mountains, but they have infinite movement, but cannot go over mountains. It's like, okay, then why does that matter? So far,
okay,
just
it's
Gimli.
Gimli.
It feels a little. I mean, you got to throw Gimli because he's a captain of the West. Although you could do Strider. Strider would be really throwing all your eggs into that one basket. But I feel like this is the one basket. Right. Why does Strider's role? I mean, Strider's role here is make you absolutely bum rush the mountain.
I should point out that Vanali has chimed in to correct me. Wom's card does not let you fly over mountains with companions. Only the eagles can.
Well, they
Thank
carry
you,
tidings,
Vanali, for
not
the
burdens,
correction.
right?
So I hear.
Tidings, not burdens, famously the promo card for Warriors that is a joke and not actually a playable card, which I always found pretty disappointing.
I'm going to take my strategy hat off for a second and just say how much I really, really hope that Strider airdrops into Dol Amroth on the back of an eagle, gets crowned king, kills this army, and marches on the South Fronts. Can we just dream
Oh,
for a moment? Can
that
we
would be
have this dream?
wonderful. I am on board. And actually, as a side note, it's maybe not as greedy as it sounds, or rather, it might be necessary. Shadow has half orcs and goblin men to reinforce this army in Dol Amroth. I actually kind of think you don't have another choice because of how likely it is that the Shadow forces the issue.
Maybe, but then Shadow does only have 6 regulars here. That is not very much.
Yeah, and
And
you
you
can't
have
know he has another forward mustering card. That's true.
right, and you have 4 character cards too. So you may have great cards to play here in this battle.
Yes, the fact that he's not bringing the hobbits makes me suspect he doesn't have a brave stand or any of the other ones that are better the more characters you have. But I mean, he's already spending a daring defiance here to make anything happen at all. It's certainly a hard choice. Certainly much easier when you get to see the Shadow. Yeah, Strider, go for
Oh,
it.
yes. There it is.
I
This is
think
one of my favorite things about this board game. This is why I'm still playing it hundreds of games later, is just because no matter how many times you play, there's always this fascinating, interesting stuff that can surprise you. It's a very exciting board game.
Yeah, can you imagine this game if Lorien had just held like 3 dice more for 5 more casualties? Would be in such a completely different game state.
Oh yeah, you kidding me?
Yeah, Firetoad.
So
This game is definitely worth your whatever 60 70 US dollars that it runs now. We recently had a player on the server complete their 2000th logged game, so it certainly stands up to the play.
shout out Vase. So what this means now that Strider has gone, Strider has abandoned the Fellowship, leaving only the four hobbits to destroy the ring. Now that Will of the West will be used to crown Strider, turning
Likely.
Strider into the evolved form of Aragorn.
Hmm.
And now, not only is Dol Amroth much more likely to hold against this army, there's counterattack potential because there's so few military units left after the conquest of Gondor, and that could really start to turn things around.
It could. It could. We happen to know House of Stewards is gone, although that works only with Boromir. You do have Grey Company could come into play, which would make an elite at the cost of a regular. Círdan's is still technically in play, and Imrahil, as we have mentioned. So 3 of the 4 reinforcement cards for Dol Amroth are still in play, technically.
And then you got to be thinking about those aggressive cards, cards like Mighty Attack, cards like Anduril, things that are going to let them just score free hits against
That's
Shadow.
true. Anduril is a character card. Anduril slash Athelas. And Mary goes to guide the Fellowship now. Is Mary or Pippin here? I'm thinking Pippin. We're closer to Gondor. You gotta.
Pippin never guides. You do not
That's
put Pippin
true.
in that
That's
guide
true.
slot if you can avoid it.
That valid point. Valid point.
Yeah, so Quadratic doing something here that I think most people would think is fairly crazy. Strider is the most powerful guy to the Fellowship. To have him leave at a crucial time feels wild, but Quadratic has assessed, and I do think I agree that you need to pull some sort of magic out of the hat here. And so this is the attempt.
And if he does crown Aragorn, I believe Aragorn is one of the only leaders with 2 leadership as opposed to Strider, which only has 1. So that would help a little bit
Yeah.
here.
Drawing a card instead of crowning
Yeah, I
is
think
interesting.
that kind of makes sense. You don't care as much about dealing 1 damage to him as you care about not taking a damage if you're able to draw something that would make that true.
Yeah, I agree. You're already getting 5 hits, so
5 dice, yeah.
yeah, 5 dice rather.
Shadow has a character and a muster left, so you only get 1 shot at this, unless the free people spend a ring to move. And excuse me, it is an attack on Dol Amroth with Desperate Battle, one of the fairly good cards for Shadow.
Okay. Now we
Although it
want to see
does
some powerful
amplify the
cards
free
come out for
people's
free.
battle as well. Oh, he reselects to
No,
Great Host.
Great
Interesting.
Host.
Um,
Ooh,
that seems unlikely to hit. I'm wondering if he's
it.
purposefully trying to bait out a cancel card. That would be my guess. Anduril comes up as a card which is effectively 2 free hits for the free people, or 2 guaranteed hits. That'd be a good one, yeah. Could you possibly have another Deadly Strife? Yeah, that's true. Both cards that Shadow indicated were strategy cards. All the Deadly Strifes are strategy cards. Mighty Attack is played for the free. Ooh, Shadow
GoSagan gets no hits.
the Shadow 6s have dried up. This
Uh-oh.
could be the turning point. And with a Mighty
Uh-oh.
Attack for the free, they could do some serious damage here.
Could this start to be a turnaround? Is
Oh,
that what we're about to see
I would
here?
love for this to be the turnaround.
Did we just add another 90 minutes to this
Yeah, I was
game?
gonna say. Speaking of 11 p.m.,
Oh my gosh.
there's some hits for free,
Okay.
and they have some rerolls yet, as well as their Mighty Attack. 3 hits for free.
Why did they only get one reroll? Shouldn't it have been two?
Uh,
No, two leaders, and one of them forfeited for the mighty attack is what that
Okay.
was. So that's correct.
Okay. Good memory on your hand. Mighty Attack gets played rarely enough that I'm not as familiar with the effect as some of the others. So Shadow does take
So
their elite as a casualty, which means the combat is over.
yeah,
Gondor is held.
Shadow lost 3 hit points. Shadow lost a great combat card, and Free People lost nothing.
Now, interestingly, he's indicating the Palantir. Shouldn't you crown and ring move last?
Uh, no, because if Cruel Weather gets played, you want
Okay.
to know about
Well,
it.
but you can't because the Shadow does not have a die or an Elven ring with which to play Cruel Weather.
Shadow Shadow will have an Elven Ring if you move again,
That's
right?
why I'm saying you crown first and then Elven ring move.
Oh, I see. I see. I
Yeah,
see. I
okay.
see.
Free
Yeah,
People
no, you're
does
probably right.
appear to be switching. Or they're just going to move with this. That feels categorically incorrect.
No, I think
Okay.
you're right. Maybe Quadratic was making the same math mistake I was making. I was doing what we were talking about earlier. I was falling back on the muscle memory of hundreds of games rather than looking at the actual board state.
The only argument I could make, perhaps, is an Elven Ring as a guaranteed move when you need it, as opposed to a die is not a guaranteed move. So you could make an argument for spending a will as a move here, but
Hmm.
that seems tenuous at best to me. And the Oliphant Factory starts on up.
There it is.
The Shadow is over halfway through their strategy card deck, one of the cards in there being Corsairs of Umbar, which teleports an army from Umbar to Dol Amroth. So, and that's definitely the canon of what happens there.
It's a teleportation, right? There's no
Yeah.
boats involved. It is teleportation technology.
Shadow hits and draws a 1, the perfect tile for free, or even near
It's
enough.
the
Most importantly, not a
absolute
reveal.
best case scenario.
I
Yeah,
guess a 2 would have been better to get down to Gollum, but still.
you're right. Yeah. Maybe the two reveal then.
Oh, it's true. And then Mary gets to go wherever he wants. Is he going to join
Maybe
Gandalf?
Fangorn?
Ooh, go to Fangorn. Yeah, threaten an Ents.
Saruman is just sitting there in his tower. He is very
Ready to be
vulnerable.
sniped.
If anyone wants to go wake up a tree, now would be the time.
He goes to Erebor. I would say that's a very strong second option. And if you're not holding an Ents, maybe it's not worth the bluff to play in Fangorn,
Yeah.
especially on a round where you're going to need all of your dice.
This is just inspiring. Shadow on 9 victory points. There are so many Free People players that I know who would just kind of have been mentally broken in this situation. But Quadratic has stayed locked in, has found kind of that narrow possible path to victory, and is trying his best to sprint down it.
Well, and he's got another great option here. Lossarnach in Gondor was not taken. There are all the Gondor elites still available in the pool and nothing in the back guard for Shadow.
Right.
A retake of Pelargir is absolutely possible. A retake of Minas Tirith is less likely, but certainly possible. And that could buy a lot of time for Frodo. Possibly. Or it could
Yeah.
do literally nothing.
And as GoSagan, you're still trying to find that last point that you need.
Right.
You're, I think probably Pippin to Erebor is wise because of what you were saying earlier, which is that that's one of those places where those last points might be found. Um, so
Pippin went to Erebor. Was that not, in fact, supposed to be Merry? I think we maybe took the wrong...
oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Maybe I just missed something.
All right, and there we are. The Free People. The Fellowship has entered Mordor. Just Frodo, Sam,
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say,
Gollum.
I think I didn't miss something. I think somehow we got a Hobbit to... Yep, he killed Merry and then put Pippin in Erebor, which is
Oh,
not...
I see. I see. I see.
Because we did the
Yeah,
whole...
good catch.
We did the whole Pippin is in charge, oh no thing. Hobbits are fungible. Yeah. Thank you, Vanali, again. Actually, pretty dead cards for Shadow. I mean, a Swarm of Bats is possibly helpful, but Flocks of Crebain is categorically useless now as a
Yeah,
effect card. And that's a pretty nice pool for free, especially basically down to
absolutely.
Golem. And 6 dice for free is always scary for Shadow. Could be a dunk this round.
It's not likely, but it could. It certainly could.
Shadow rolls and gets a 1 eye allocated, 2 eyes rolled, and free rolls 2 movement. Only
Not
2
a lot of
movement
movement.
and only 3 dice showing attacks, which is actually really inconvenient for free here.
No Palantiri for Shadow, so Free
That's true.
People's not really under any pressure to clear the Palantir of Orthanc.
And that means it's very unlikely Shadow will play their red tiles because they would have to spend attacks to do it.
That's right.
They do get muster, so the Mouth will be making an appearance this game. The Mouth of Sauron. Foof, but only 4 attacks showing, 5 if you muster the Mouth or Elven Ring. Even with 5 attacks, what do you do on this map to get 5? Get another point. I still
Well, we
think
st- we start we start by seeing what sort of nonsense Free People throws out with this hybrid. Free People also can't be in love with this role, right? Because they only have this one attack, really.
right.
Uh,
They would have loved 2 more moves instead of Palantir, even some hybrids to do free people shenanigans.
yeah, absolutely.
I would love to see that West Hirondor Gondorian take Minas Morgul and Woodland Realm take Goldodor for a free people's military victory here.
Yeah,
Ah,
it
he
doesn't
goes
look
to
like
his
we're too well.
Gileath. Could Faramir show up with a Palantir? Oh, that would be amazing. Now, Bree to South Downs. I'm not seeing the point in that one. It's equal distant to Rivendell as North Downs to Ettenmoors. So if you're looking to just reinforce Rivendell, I don't see the point there. But
So, could
with this board state, there's not many useful moves for free people armies in general. Honestly, I might even
right.
like throwing a regular out of Woodland Realm to Old Forest Road to slowly march towards Dol Guldur, force the Shadow to spend one of their dice reinforcing there.
Well, it's a good point that we should point out for anyone who might be newer to the game that if Free People does manage to capture 4 victory points, they win. But if Shadow also gets 10 points on that turn, well, Shadow wins instead. Shadow always wins ties in this game. Is kind of a way to think about it.
Free People does have Faramir's, so
Look at
Faramir,
that.
I teased, showed his medal earlier. Nope, that was some other nameless soldier. Faramir has now arrived in his Gileath, and that's an army that could take Minas Tirith. It's not hyper likely, but it's likely enough.
They'd have to give up their moves to make that
Or an
happen.
Elven Ring, but you don't have to do it. Do it. You know, all you have to have is the possibility, and now Shadow has to respect it, or at least has to think about it, and then their brain melts and
Can
cardiac.
we can we just narratively say Strider and Gimli airdrop on the back of Gwaihir into Dol Amroth. Aragorn is crowned king, while Faramir musters some of his countrymen in the countryside to mount a counterattack on the fallen Minas Tirith. It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
We're having yeah, just like the books. um, but yeah, and this is a thing. This is another thing that happens in Shadow. Free People is feeling the same thing that I feel a lot of players feel in this point. You have these wonderful little side attacks that could delay, or you could spend time moving the Fellowship, but it feels so very, very hard to do both. Shadow does spend their ring playing the red 3 as a Palantir, or using their muster with the Elven Ring as a Palantir to play the 3, and draws Rage of the Dunlendings, which is in fact a not very helpful card here. Although, actually, That could be quite an interesting card. You play that for your hybrid, but you wouldn't have any leadership. So taking the Shire with that this turn is not likely.
Oh, are we doing the thing?
Free
All
People
right.
is referencing what we did last game, or at least he's looking like he might, where he quote unquote shuffles the hunt pool, which is not at all a thing you have to do. It
The
is
part of me that wants this superstition to die forever so that people will stop texting me about it really kind of hopes that Quadratic draws a red tile now.
And Quadratic did move his dice. I assume he intends to actually, use the Elven dice or use an action dice to move here. And there, now it's art. Okay.
Right.
And
I don't really hope that Quadratic
assumably
rolls a
the
red tile.
move. And it's a 0,
Wow,
which is
look at
actually really
that.
inconvenient for sure. I mean, it's not super inconvenient, but it's inconvenient for
Yeah,
free. They would love
yeah,
anything with a number other than the red tile.
that's real unfortunate.
And Rage of the
The
Dunland
reason
is
why it's
indeed
unfortunate,
played. Um,
zero feels great because it doesn't do any damage, but it does reveal the Fellowship. And if only Pippin weren't still here, they would have stayed hidden.
that fool Pippin. Now, Shadow moves out to the northwest with 5 regulars, but the Free People have one muster showing, and if they absolutely desperately need to, they could spend this will. But do they have Swords and Eriador? I would love for them to have that card.
Or Tom Bombadil.
Or Tom Bombadil would be
Which
great. Um, Swords and
it
Eriador.
is Swords and Eriador.
Excellent,
Wow.
and it draws a strategy card, which is which is important at this point. Although this does means they're basically pot committed to holding the Shire this round.
Yup. So if Shadow does take the Shire, um, Free does have the chance to recapture either Dale or even Pelargir.
Yes. So here's something you could do: use your will to move South Downs and North Downs to Buckland. When you're attacked, retreat, and then spend a dice coming back in. I don't think that's probably your best
Yeah.
move, but that gets you the most HP there. Shadow commits leadership to the west, including the Witch King, which
Oh
makes
boy.
sense. How did the mouth get to Dale? I must have missed somewhere in the middle. Oh, he was in Dol Guldur. He just walked there. Okay.
Right.
I somehow in my head he was in Moria. Um,
Yeah,
five
this
five
is really
regulars
coming
with
down to
5
the wire.
leadership. That's probably enough to take the Shire, even if you spend both your dice. Well, if you spend both your dice making units in the Shire, although I think we had said, that's the last Northern Elite. I'm pretty sure
Is it?
they mustered
Yeah,
3 in
that
Perrock, and the one they just mustered now. I do believe 4 is
that would be
is the
it.
most anyone has.
Yeah, there's only four.
So they could still do, yeah.
A regular, if they want.
Yeah, I assume that they just found that just now political track to move the
They're
dwarves to
stalling.
war. I mean, oh, just to stall to flip the turn order,
Yeah.
I suppose.
They would have to do that in order to
I don't
do
like
the
this
maneuver
position
you were
for
talking
free,
about.
actually.
Yeah, it's pretty dire.
You think you spend your one of your dice trying to retake Pelargir, maybe?
There's a lot of math to be done about what are your best statistical odds here. I think retaking Pelargir is one option you have.
And Shadow moves units to West Trondor from Umbar to prevent this. I actually would have moved from Dol Amroth, relieve the siege, and or even just leave one guy there and move to Lamadon. I think that's the stronger play, more dice, and it gives you a leadership to retreat into for the backlash. But yeah, Free Peoples are actually suffering right now from all the mustering in the north. They can't put another elite in the Shire, and I really, as much as I think it'd be funny, I don't really like the ring move to Buckland. Shadow has a pretty
Yeah.
stacked hand for this battle. Swarmabats, they are terrible, and Desperate Battle are all pretty good effects for here. Onslaught, less so. Those darn dwarves not
I,
participating. Ooh, okay. Do you ring move to Tower Hills with the elves?
uh, Probably not.
You don't like that play?
If you were gonna do that, why wouldn't you do the thing you were talking about, where you'd consolidate in Buckland? You'd
Yeah,
have a
that'd,
stronger
that'd be
army.
that'd be almost as many units. It would be one less leader. Because theoretically, when he attacks the Shire, you could retreat to Tower Hills and then swing back, and that way you would have a leader. It's technically one more reroll with the elves. The
Right.
downside, of course, is then you've killed your elves, and nothing is left to defend the Grey Havens, not even the men of the Shire. It's like,
Trying to find the least bad of some desperate options here. Maybe Pelargia really is the play. You've got 3 hit points to their 2. You have a leader, whereas they don't.
and Shadow has put themselves in a position where they cannot attack in from West Hirondor. They have no leadership there, and no Elven money to
Right.
spend. I
It
think that
also maybe lets you save yourself next round. If you can roll some attacks, now Aragorn can help you kind of permanently hold it.
yeah, Quadratic is in fact noting that he has no North elites, so our counting
Yeah.
proves true, which is good.
It's harder for me to calculate the odds of success in Dale if Gandalf attacked Dale with the elves out of Woodland Realm.
Ooh, I like your thinking.
It's a shame that the mouth has gone there because it means that
Yes.
Shadow would have rerolls even against Gandalf.
No, that's a good point. Um, Boy, that's a thought. Um, I'm curious if I have. Well, while they're thinking grabbing water, I'm going to see if I can pull up the battle simulator real fast and just give us any idea of what that would be.
Yeah.
Um,
It,
Go
I
for it.
I really wish, as free people, I really wish you'd done that before the mouth was moved. I think that would improve your odds significantly.
Yes, it's looking like for some swag numbers from a quick run on Ira's battle simulator. The free people, if they attack Dale, and everybody just sits and fights to the end, which Shadow wouldn't do. They would probably retreat to Vale of Karnan and then swing back. The attacker wins 497 out of 1,000 times. It's a coin flip.
That's wild.
And all of that entire coin flip, would be to buy one round for Frodo, who would still have to roll 5 moves, 1 to hide and 4 to move, and not hit the red, and not hit the other 0 reveal before the group died. The last Elven regular is mustered in Woodland Realm. He's seeing the same thing we are, so he might attack Dale instead, or at least is giving himself the option to.
You will get a chance to see how this goes in the Shire.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it, right?
Yeah.
Shadow, of course, is highly incentivized to force the issue. Even if it
Right.
doesn't work, it spends all of Free People's dice making them throw themselves on your armies.
There is a happy fantasy world though where Shadow goes for the win right here by attacking the Shire, and somehow the Shire actually holds.
Oh, that'd be great
If
for
that
Shadow.
happens, you get to spend this will however you want.
Yeah, assumably hiding the Fellowship at that point.
Right.
I think the Elven regular into Woodland Realm is good. I probably would have forgotten that you had one Elven regular left and been scared that I might need him in Grey Havens, which isn't a real thing, but it'd be a thing I would think about. I do think at this point
Yeah.
you would really be kicking yourself that you didn't, and I didn't note it either earlier, but a true card count earlier when you moved Bree to South Downs, I think would have shown that anything towards the Shire would have been better than that move.
Yeah, I wonder what that plan originally was. It is kind of like a reflex move that a lot of free people players will make. If you don't have anything better to do, you might as well throw a little poke towards Moria. But I agree in this case, maybe Shire was more important.
And the attack,
Okay, here it comes.
I was going to say, technically you should say you might be attacking Woodland Realm. But he is attacking the Shire, and he's playing his They Are Terrible card. It's just as useful now as it was ever going to be. I am a little surprised he's not playing Swarm of Bats, but my guess would be he's waiting to bait out a good card on the second round. The free people is incentivized to save their best combat cards for the next round when the protection of the city wears off. And the protection of the city is doing a great job. 2 hits, though. That's a lot. Defense gets 1 press draw.
And I don't even know that you retreat here. Why not just hold
no.
and
No, yeah, you fight. Generic Pie, hey! You've come for the finale. Welcome.
all right, no card from Shadow. So if Free has any kind of defense, now is the time.
Yeah, but
granted,
really,
Free is having.
Yeah, I suppose he's saving.
Free doesn't need to subdivide their cards. They both have to subdivide their cards because they both are anticipating a fight in Dale right after this.
Right, and I think you have to. It's too bad that Mary isn't in Woodland Realm and therefore able to stab the Witch King with Blade of Westerness. No card for either side. Up.
Okay.
And there's the 2 hits for Shadow.
There's the hits. Yeah.
So Shire falls. It does an okay defense, but Rage of the Dunlendings indeed. Quadratic has shown. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say he only took 1 hit. There were definitely 2 hits for Shadow. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get it fixed. There we go.
And Shadow's on 10.
Okay.
Can the free people swing this back with effectively last battle?
They have to try, and it's got to be either Dale or Pelargir, wherever they think they have the best odds. And you ran the simulator; it's basically a coin flip. It comes down to all right. It's going to be Dale.
I did run the numbers before the Elven regular was mustered, so I think that would improve your odds to slightly better than 50-50. Dale from Woodland Realm. Let's see the best cards both sides have to offer. Sadly for Free, the Shadow has a Swarm of Bats and a Desperate Battle. Gandalf is of course shining to turn off the rerolls of the Nazgul.
Though Shadow will still get 2 from the mouth.
Correct. And Shadow is going to get the defensive bonus of Dale for 1 round where attacks only hit on 6s.
Quadratic opens with a strategy card.
And it's Shield Wall versus Swarm of Bats, so
yeah,
nothing doing. Swarm of Bats cancels the opponent's card, so 1 hit from Free, just 1. Shadow, 4 hits back for Shadow.
Big punch.
That's problematic. Ow. Well, you got to press it.
A lot of hit points to lose.
This is the game, so press. Now, is there any world where Shadow retreats here? I mean, you hold for like 1 more round and just see, but yeah.
Yeah, not with an opening like that, certainly.
Okay,
but Onslaught is an aggressive choice.
Do you Desperate Battle here? I think you kind of do while you outnumber them. Hold on.
Oh, Shadow picked first. That's incorrect.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, just enforcing the technicalities. Technically, Shadow needs to say that they are staying, and then the free people chooses a card, and then the Shadow chooses a card. It probably won't
Confusion
matter,
into
but it's
onslaught.
good to just tick the boxes here. 2 hits incoming from 3, 3 total hits, and
Three.
none from the
Oh
confusion.
my
Oh, the
word! And
confusion does
three
great.
more. Well,
3
that
hits
just
from
brought it
confusion.
right back around. No way.
6 hits from the free people. Talk about a
Absolutely
roller coaster.
unbelievable.
That is 5 hits. You need one more, sir. Uh, yeah, one more hit.
Well, now you have the option to onslaught as shadow, but surely you can't.
Yeah, I would say probably at this point retreat to Veil of Karn and leave your options open for next round.
Oh my gosh, I
Wow, what a turnaround.
what a confusion.
Yeah. I'm
And
so confused.
and it's through a day and a night too. So I'm sure that Quadratic's been holding that under some dream of like maybe someday you go to Dol Guldur, but this is just absolutely the place for it.
That is very sad. Yep. I'm
Quadratic
assuming
says press. Did GoSagan comment on whether or not he wants to use through a
I'm
day and
not
a
sure
night?
he's technically said whether he's going to use onslaught yet. Apparently
They're both going a little out of order. Quadratic says press, no card, but GoSagan needs to say whether or not he's
yeah.
retreating. I think they're both probably very excited right now.
Yeah. Um Yeah,
This
and
this
technically, I
game,
think he needs to technically say whether he's using onslaught, but I think we can agree that it's
right?
fairly obvious he's not. Um,
Yeah, but yeah. This game, I don't know if this is true for you. It's certainly true for me, and I've heard others say the same. It will actually elevate your heart rate in
oh,
situations like this,
absolutely.
high stakes situations.
I do think if you had a heart rate monitor on my games, especially when I'm playing Free People's Military Victory. Oh man, or even just considering a field battle for that matter. It's like okay, he's decided to
Okay.
stay. Interesting. I mean, get your chance at the round, or get your chance at the game. Makes sense.
Yeah,
3
and
more
it's three
hits for
more hits.
free, and just 2 for shadow. Surely you retreat now.
Yeah, at this point, you're just gonna throw away the mouth if you stay.
Although, and then the free people decided to not press the attack, and lost.
Yeah, I don't think so.
now,
There it is. There it is.
now, how much do you bring into Dale? Basically everybody, you
All
think?
but one. Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
yeah, I think
that,
so.
that kind of makes sense. Wow, what a turnaround! But all is not lost for either side, and we still have very much a game on our hands here.
Yeah.
It is quite possible Free
Wait,
manages to
wait, wait,
wiggle.
wait.
Yeah.
Is Quadratic not
Oh, he's going to
moving
move in.
into
He's just deciding how
Dale's?
much, I'm sure.
Okay, okay.
Um, Even if the free people, the free people have bought themselves around, great. You probably aren't dunking next round. You need to buy a whole nother round after this.
Very true, but let's not forget that this round was very bad dice for any sort of Aragorn shenanigans. That might not be true next round
Hmm. True.
because there's still three victory points that you could reclaim in Gondor, possibly with the right dice.
I actually don't like this move right now. Currently, Free is only moving 1 North regular to Dale. I don't like that. This game is very much a game of the 1 point, 2 points, and letting them retake Dale for effectively free and making you spend an action dice to defend it next round is not what I would suggest. If you
Yeah,
leave
I don't
just
think it
one
makes
guy in
sense to me
Woodland Realm,
either.
they would have to spend 3 dice to even show up, and then you could spend
Yeah,
1 dice defending it just as good as here.
Quadratic's still thinking.
Yeah, maybe he'll come to the same conclusion. Maybe he has a much better idea than I. Maybe he's holding King Brandsman. He's not holding a strategy card, so he's not holding King's Brandsman. But
Yeah, I'm really struggling to find the justification for this. Why wouldn't you go with everybody? What could you possibly have that would make that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know.
E- Even if you were holding King Brand, which I don't remember which shield wall that was that got played. Was that King Brand?
I don't know. He's not holding it because he doesn't have a strategy. But
All right, there we go.
the shield wall, I don't think it was King Brand's, but it might have been. We'll see if this burns me. I guess. Oh, there. Okay. He has indeed moved everybody but one. He leaves the one Northman guarding Woodland Realm. I think we can agree that this is the much better of the moves.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And we bought ourselves our
If
turn
if
8.
if Quadratic sees this later and wants to comment on what the decision point was there, I'd be very interested to learn.
Yeah, yeah. Man, for only a 9-turn game, it's certainly been everything under the sun.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as before, we are now going to roll 16 dice between both players. That's the most possible, and it's going to be so important what comes up.
Oh yeah, if Shadow rolls 7 eyes, this could very easily turn into something very, very sneaky for the free people. Or, Frodo moves once and immediately keels over. But Shadow did draw the red 1, so more red tiles is excellent for Shadow, especially with Palantir of Orthanc in play. 1 eye allocated, 1 eye rolled. 3 moves for free people, a muster and a hybrid, so decent assortment of rolls, or of dice. Shadow has 5 attacks showing, if they use their muster with the mouth's special ability. That's
Right.
enough to go to get places and do stuff.
Free people probably can't dunk the ring this turn. I think there is a world where it's technically possible with an Elven ring and with there is another way, but
Correct.
it's certainly not likely to happen.
Correct. Um, Even my cat's excited and is running around desperately. Okay. Fellowship hides with their first move. That makes sense. If the Shadow had any of the cards that, or the cards like Morgul Wound that could deal 2 damage, they might be tempted to play them right here. And honestly,
I
Free People's victory condition still is a ring dunk.
Yeah, for the most part, I really hate leaving Palantir of Orthanc alive this long, but I don't know when Quadratic was supposed to clear it. Hasn't really had the opportunity. He's been playing from the back foot for several turns now and doing an excellent job of it.
And it is important to note he is now out of action tokens, so this is the turn order. Shadow will get to kind of drive the pace of things, or at least decide where they end.
Yeah. And with the Palantir, Shadow will now be able to put red tiles into the pool while at the same time converting the monsters roused.
Really?
Look, well, there's free points in Rivendell, isn't there?
He spent Shadows in the Misty Mountains, though. This takes a lot of dice to get going.
But it's not reinforceable. So
And good question, Generic Pie. Gondor has all their elites -1 and most of their regulars. The Elven Force Pool is 100% tapped.
yeah, with no elves, this is looking hard to
You think
defend.
so? I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the scare.
Really? Yeah, so if those orcs from Moria come out, then
Maybe
you're looking
then.
at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 hit points to take 4.
I suppose, but you're going to have to
I'd
spend
I'd be
so many
afraid.
dice to make that happen this round.
I would be happy to spend all of them because I win if I take it.
I guess. Free People is mustering. Shadow forgot to draw and draws Hill Trolls, which is a big deal for the North.
Oh, goodness.
However, yeah,
How do you feel about it now?
that I feel much better about. Although,
Yeah.
incidentally, a retake of Minas Tirith is not completely silly, and that would
No,
buy
no.
Frodo a whole nother round. It'd be a lot of the Free People's dice to do that, though.
Yeah, but you're looking to eke out inches here. If you can move even one time and do that, you're just looking for that one turn where maybe you can finish the sprint, you know?
Yeah. All you need is you really need one more round, and you could really hope for 2, but 1's all you're gonna get. So Meanwhile, the dwarves are like, what war?
I really think that this comes back to what I was saying a while back, that back when you first tapped out your elites to defend Lorien and Woodland Realm, turn 1 or 2, I think maybe you should have been stealing some half movements on a hybrid here and there across the game to move North Downs towards Rivendell, preparing for this to eventually happen.
Hmm.
Um, Here we are now, turn 9, and we've finally reached that point.
Interesting. As Gileath is getting attacked from West Herondor, I do.
Wow.
That feels categorically wrong to me.
I agree. It gives free people a free retreat into Lossarnak.
And they do a bonus hit on the outswing.
I think that
And two
interesting.
bonus hits.
So
They might not even. Well, they want to retreat if they can, and Shadow does not, in fact, press. They didn't
right,
explicitly say that, but it's evident. That was
GoSagan not happy with that.
an. What was the? I guess okay. Here's the thought process: you attack, you hit once, but then they just retreat to Lusarnach, and they have their hit point back, and in fact, they're still getting a bonus die on the attack. I don't feel that was a very good move.
I think maybe it was just a mistake. Both players under tremendous pressure right
Oh
now.
yeah, we're coming up on hour 2 of the game. That's quite a thing. As a funny note, Minas Tirith is not defended by a Sauron regular, so hill trolls cannot be used to reinforce it. He does
That's right.
spend both his reinforcements in Vale of Carnan. I'm surprised that's not Ettenmoors and Weather Hills.
That's so fascinating. Maybe an attempted retake on Dale.
Against that, I suppose. But even, yeah, I guess Dale does win it if they didn't take. Man. Okay, Quadratic
All
says
right,
he
looks
needs
like we're gonna
5
be
minutes.
taking a 5-minute break.
And
Okay.
viewers, feel free to take a 5 minute break, but
If it were me, man, I don't know. Like sometimes you just need to step away from the board for a second and
yeah, go
just
get a breath of
breathe.
fresh air.
This is so close on both sides. And I know it probably feels like it's closer for Shadow than it is for Free, but it's boy, that ring is getting closer and closer to the cracks of doom, and Shadow is really struggling to find that last point.
And even if they do attack, though, retaking a Minas Tirith is not free by any means.
For sure. Yeah.
Actually, it's something I would be fairly considering here is attack siege Minas Tirith from Osgiliath with a character die, and then hybrid move South Downs to Holland to protect Moria from coming to the north, and Lossarnach onto Minas Tirith.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting.
Because you really want a third die while trying to take Minas Tirith if you can if you can get it at all.
Yeah.
Now Free is still holding mostly character cards. Most of those are not going to be helpful here. I guess like a heroic death. Faramir could die heroically retaking Minas Tirith. That could matter.
You know, how much of a tragedy is it that we don't have a little Eowyn mini anywhere in this game? It really feels like Eowyn should have been in here somewhere.
I
That's what I think.
So Ares has made some offhand comments that there may or may not be another expansion someday that readds the siege. I think strongly it should be called Captains of Middle Earth, and it's just a box of miniatures that are like, here's a Faramir miniature. It's not different. There's no special rules. Just have a Faramir miniature. And
I would pay an
miniature.
embarrassing amount of money for that.
Exactly, right? And like every single leader should have a special sculpt. That is my personal opinion.
Well, we came closer with Kings, right?
We
If
did
anyone
come
hasn't
much
picked up
closer.
Kings, oh, it's beautiful. It's a wonderful set.
But most of the leaders in the game have a card associated with them that tells you the name. So there's Imrahil, there's Faramir, and all the rest. Even Grimbjorn. The ones that are missing it is none of the dwarves have a special name other than Dane, and a couple of Northmen are missing names. But make one Barlam and Butterbur, and one of them, I don't know.
Well, who do you think? Who do you think the regular Embry represents? I mean, come on.
Well, I mean that's like some rangers in the north. That's not specifically Barlaman. He's got to have some leadership behind him.
Right, right. Yes, of course. I want the Eowyn card. I want like a reversible Eowyn card, right? You've got
Mm.
Durnhelm on one side and Eowyn on the other.
I do think it would behoove the game to have some call out of Eowyn, if even if it's just a battle effect.
Right.
In a battle where there's a Rohan leader, it's Blade of Westerness, but with any Rohan leader, I think that'd be fine.
Yeah, she's notably the only named female character in the entire novel who directly contributes to anything.
I mean,
I'm
Galadriel.
not.
Galadriel.
Sure, no, Galadriel. You're right, Galadriel. I'll throw Arwen some slack, and I will say that sending the banner of the Grey Company down south, I don't hate it.
Yeah, yeah. And thus, with that, we have named every female in the books.
Nonsense. No, Mrs. Maggot. We must not
Oh
forget
yeah,
Mrs. Maggot,
Louisville
who
Sackville Baggins, or
does
whatever her name is.
Lobelia.
Yeah, yeah.
Lobelia Sackville Baggins, also kind of a badass. One of the few hobbits to actually stand up to Saruman when he comes to scour the Shire.
And Tariel.
Let's not.
I was just gonna see if I could get a rile out of you.
Let's not.
Free People is passed, and Shadow is taking their turn. Where are we going? North Rune comes for a swing on Dale, and West Horondor's singular regular reinforces Pelargir. I am baffled by this Monsters Roused play into not using it.
Yeah.
If you're going to play it, fine. But commit. I don't understand the point of using the die here when dice are so precious. Maybe just to psych the Free Peoples out?
Well, maybe what you're trying to do is consolidate your points. Make sure that you don't lose what you have because you're having so much trouble picking up a new one. You know that you're going to be able to get Rivendell if you really want it. So what really matters is, well, oh boy. I don't know.
I think with Hill Trolls not being played up there and the time not being taken to move Moria out.
Oh, you know what? Maybe what you're trying to do is make it less palatable to take Osgiliath to Lossarnak, because if you do that, then you can counterattack from Pelargir and maybe shave a few hit points off that army.
Maybe. Free does Power to Great has been played generic pie. Free People do besiege Minas Tirith, and Shadow moves out from the Shire to threaten Grey Havens. That feels not realistic.
Oh boy. Really? Okay.
So Free People would have to spend 2 dice to recapture it from North Downs or from South Downs, I guess.
Oh dear.
And 3 regulars is not enough to take Grey Havens. Shadow has no forward mustering tile cards, and Oleg High and Half Orcs and Goblin and Hill Trolls have all been played. Not that Hill Trolls would help you here. Guards of the Citadel. What a card to have. What a card.
Oh my gosh.
That's changed the texture of this game quite a bit.
That it takes Minas Tirith from, well, maybe it can be retaken to almost certainly it can be retaken.
So Shadow moves to Old Forest Road. I think you reinforce... Oh man, this is tough. Shadow's going to spend both their dice attacking, to besieging and taking Woodland Realm. Yeah, I guess you just take Minas Tirith now with your hybrid, make sure you have it, and then you spend your last die moving.
Ooh.
That
Okay.
felt
I
wacky to
I don't know
me
about that.
because Shadow
I
takes
don't know about
Dale and
that.
forces you to spend your last die taking Minas Tirith.
Right. You do get to move that Losternak regular in, but I don't know that you needed it, and now you're not going to be able to move.
I don't like that move.
But Shadow is trying their best. This is bait, and maybe the bait is being taken.
Yeah, maybe.
And if Shadow retakes Dale, you can still maybe take it back. But if Shadow takes Woodland Realm, that's lost.
But not if you take Minas Tirith.
You still aren't going to get back Woodland Realm.
I agree. Oh yeah, yeah. Your comment stands. But you buy the round, you get your one move, and then now you're
What if
three
you have
steps
to?
from dunking. Grey Havens.
What if you
He's
have
not
to
even.
buy another round?
Oh, he's forcing the free
Oh,
people's hand. He's forcing them to take Minas Tirith without him having to take Dale.
uh, he had to anyway. No.
Well, he doesn't have to take Dale now. He could use his last die for something else. I don't know what you would do it with, but do with that die anyway. But
But free people has to take Minas Tirith no matter what is what I'm saying.
not inherently. I mean, as long as Shadow doesn't take Dale. But yes, you're correct. Free people should take Minas Tirith. Surely he sees this. I'm confused by the
Yeah.
weight. You've put yourself in the. Okay, he's typing, so assumably it's Minas Tirith.
You don't want to rush and make a mistake. You got
Yeah,
to think very
valid.
carefully.
Ah, I think you had a free move here. Yeah, that shouldn't be enough to take Grey Havens. You're right. He has two Devilry of Orthancs, which would be hilarious, but sad. Java is so fickle. There is, as
I
they
agree.
say, that. But he would get
I'm
one
not
set. He would get absolute
sure.
max 6 dice. He would have to get 6 6s out of 6 dice. Or 3 6s out of 6 dice. He's used Fighting Urukai
But
and Grond.
what are we considering as free people? If we're not about to attack Minas Tirith, what are we going to do instead?
Right, even if he takes Grey Havens, you have no option here. What are you going to do, sortie? Um, so you take Minas Tirith no
Shadow
matter what happens here.
Shadow will just take Dale. That's Shadow's 10th point.
Right, exactly. So there's no other option here. Free should take Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm concerned the fact that he's not doing it and the fact that he's typing
Well,
is making me wonder if he's seeing that play.
he must surely.
Surely, surely.
Uh, Vanali did poke me to remind me that there is a named female character who does something that we forgot, who is Eoreth, who's one of the healers in the House of Healing.
You are correct.
And I'm actually a little surprised that I forgot because that is one of my favorite scenes in the book. She is the one who kind of clues people into the prophecy of the return of the king, that when the king returns, he will be a healer, which is how Aragorn kind of first re-enters the city, sneaks in disguise into the medic ward
And
to
a promo
help
card
out.
in War of the Ring, the card game, I believe.
Oh, is that right?
I think that might be Gone Very Gone. She is a card in War of the Ring. No, position to get up the
I
mountain.
don't.
Quadratic, no.
I'm confused. If if Quadratic does anything right now other than attack Minas Tirith, it seems like a game losing blunder.
I'm quiet because I am sad. Um,
I give them a second.
yeah, and so I've done this too many times already. These players are much better than I. They're seeing things I'm not. They're playing the 4D chess. Um, so I am but the lowly commentator. Okay,
There
Oh,
it is. There it
oh,
is. There it
oh,
is.
thank goodness. Oh, quadratic. My heart can't take this. And GoSagan
Oh,
saw it the whole time. Of
GoSagan.
course he did. Oh, jeez. Oh. Oh. Okay. Yeah, GoSagan's like, yeah, I've been sitting here cheering. Oh, man. Okay. 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 No card. Ooh, that's tough. But you should have the dice to do it.
You should.
I apologize if any of you are hearing clicking in the background.
There
That's
it
me
is.
snapping a pen and scared. And
Oh,
Minas Tirith is recaptured. Oh. And the Fellowship did hide this round, so they will not receive an automatic corruption. Although,
yeah.
as an interesting note, when you take that corruption, I assume you can't kill a hobbit to take that corruption. I think it's just a flat
Uh,
corruption, not a corruption
no,
that
yeah,
you.
it just happens.
Yeah.
It just happens.
And Shadow, of course, does not attack Dale when they have red tiles they can throw in. Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm
Generic
so
Pie, thank
glad
you.
he didn't make that
I
mistake.
am so glad,
Uh,
and I'm sure he is as well. Generic Pie points out
you would,
you would kick yourself up and down all day long.
yeah, you'd never really forget it.
Okay, now Free People just needs to roll like 5 movement and miss all 3 red tiles that Shadow has or is already in the
Well,
pool.
it's not 5 movement, but
Uh,
it is a much more flexible role than Free People has been dealing with so far. So
and
that's good.
Shadow rolled very few attacks.
But every Palantir in the world, and Palantir of
True.
Orthanc is still in play.
But only 4 attacks,
Yeah, yeah.
even with the mouth. That's not enough to do a lot. I assume he's playing Elven Cloaks. He's just shuffling the pool. He's just shuffling the hunt pool.
Naturally. Okay, let's
A
see the
2
draw.
reveal,
Two
that's
reveal.
excellent.
Not
We'll
bad.
take the
Yeah.
corruption and not reveal thanks to Gollum. And the red tile goes
Oh,
in. The red 1, so the only one missing is Shelob.
and we
Cruel
redraw a
Weather shows up a
character
little bit
card.
late. Assumably there's another way, since by how quickly he moved that Palantir out into play. There it is.
Is this
Excellent card to have
happening?
here. Oh, an eye for a 2 reveal, and Gollum does not protect against this, so it is a reveal.
It is still possible to destroy the ring this turn, though.
Yes, Morgul Wound will be painful, but you've got plenty of corruption to spare.
Right.
But you will take the emotional damage of having a full benefit Morgul Wound played against you.
Not only that, but you are oof. Okay, so Balrog of Moria stymies Shadow from continuing to cycle those cards that way.
You could play it for combat effect with the Witch King against South Downs. I'm just being weird. Shadow is attacking Dale. Yep, that seems to make sense as a move. Okay. Oh man, what a game! What a tight game.
Yeah, we should.
Dale
So
scouts,
we're.
I guess.
Why
To
not?
to arrow. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. To Erebor, just in case Shadow is thinking to take Erebor. That makes sense.
I think Shadow might be pinning it all on the Hail Mary of Grey Havens right now.
Boy, what a Hail Mary. Up. That's enough reveals, so the Fellowship will not be dunking this turn.
Oh, but they will next turn, almost certainly. So Shadow basically needs to win right now.
And they have 3 attacks to do it and no Elven Rings. It's 3 attacks maximum. Okay, we haven't seen Black Captain commands. We haven't seen Ring Wraiths Are Abroad.
There's 5 cards left in the strategy deck, but no forward musters. We've seen Hill Trolls, we've seen Oleg High, and we've seen Half Orcs and Goblin Men. So there's no more troops coming.
Boy, where you have 3 attacks and you need a stronghold.
You also, you know what? Uh, Even if Grey Havens falls, Shadow cannot defend the Shire.
Oh,
if Free
that's
People wants to take
true.
it
The
back.
free can just take the Shire, and it doesn't matter what stronghold falls for the free. Even
All
if
of a
Erebor
sudden,
falls, the Shire is just
thi-
retaken.
this is starting to look very Free People favored.
Oh man, come on, Quadratic, find that.
He said neutrally.
Yes, I'm definitely not cheering for one particular side right now.
It can be hard sometimes not to root for the good guys, but I gotta say, both of these players have worked so hard
Oh,
across
they
these
have.
three games.
They
I
have.
can't imagine a more exciting game three of the finals than this. This is
Absolutely.
insane.
And to be clear,
Whoever
while I
takes
am cheering
this.
for the good guys, I'm also cheering for the guy who dumps Strider and Gimli into Dol Amroth and crowns while under siege and recaptures Minas Tirith with Faramir. It's hard to argue against that logic. Yep, GoSagan's seeing the same stuff that we are. I think even if he takes Erebor in a particularly miraculous battle, Shire Shire falls to the free people, quote unquote. And what do you do
Well,
then?
so here's what you do. Here's your out as Shadow,
Hmm.
right? You have to take Erebor and the Grey Havens.
Abstractly possible. You could also
Abstractly
take
possible.
you could take DA with Shadow Lengthens abstractly. Um, actually,
Yeah,
you can
could you?
Shadow Lengthens a bigger army onto Grey Havens.
Uh,
You can get two more regulars.
yeah. Um, but can you do that and still have enough dice to take both strongholds?
No, but you would feel
Because Grey
better.
Havens, Grey Havens isn't enough. You have to find another point because the Shire is taken.
Yeah, yeah. He really. I do not agree with the moving out of the Shire. He's really set
So
himself up for a world of hurt here.
so let's say this goes how it's probably going to, and we go to another round because Shadow is not going to be able to get to 10 and hold all the territory they have. It's still not over because those reds are in the pool, and
Yeah,
even one red could easily put Frodo into full corruption range.
yeah, absolutely. Especially the red eye, if like four eyes are rolled. Oof.
This is
Also,
a very close
for all
thing.
my cheering for the free, uh, can you imagine the like pain of being a shadow player here? You've been to 10, you've had 9 multiple times. Like you got
Scrappy.
to DA before it was
It's
and you
Grey Havens. I love it. I love it. I want to see it. Let's see it.
he's gonna have to
Those those
hottest dice
elves
he's ever
have
had.
been folding like paper cranes this whole game. So if they continue that policy,
Interesting. He says 1 sec. He's only holding character cards. The best ones for him here would be a heroic death would be excellent. A sudden strike is mediocre. Honestly, I'm surprised he didn't play Challenge of the King. That'd be fun. Um, no hits for Shadow. That's very sad. No hits for free, so fair's fair, I
that's
guess.
that.
Shadow
Yep.
draws a card because of the Witch King. He has a couple more cycles by playing Palantirs with the Palantir in play. Free People does need to, at this moment, I mean, they can pass a couple times, but they do need to not spend any of their dice doing anything other than retaking the Shire. Well, that's not strictly true. It just really guarantees life. Yep. And there goes North Downs to Buckland, and assumably South Downs to Buckland. I don't know what else you would do with your turns.
Why not pass here? What's the rush?
Um,
Oh, oh, this is
uh,
I,
uh,
hmm.
I, why? So Minas
Well,
Tirith is Minas Tirith has moved to Osgiliath. Okay, thank you, Quadratic.
okay,
Please
all
stop
right.
playing with us. Just bring the South Downs guy to Buckland. Don't be weird. Don't be me. Don't field battle right now or whatever. Like okay. Here's a thought process that makes sense. You move an army to Osgiliath. What's Shadow going to do? Retake Minas Tirith with a regular in these 2 dice, and you threaten to retake a Pelargir next round in case you need. a quick point.
Hmm. So GoSagan
Hmm.
cannot win this round anymore, I believe. Even
As
even
long
in
as the
Happy
three people
World
takes shadow.
where
Yes.
right, which they will.
The way that would change is if he cycles into Black Captain commands or Nazgul or Abroad. Ring Racer Abroad, excuse me.
Yes, yes, those are all still in the character deck. Okay, that's a good point.
And he's effectively guaranteed to do that.
There's still 11 cards in that deck.
Strategy deck only 4 though. Oh no, you're right. Character deck is where those are. So
Yeah. All
Devilry of
right, there's
Orthanc
the
on the Grey
Devilry.
Havens. There's 2 hits.
Oh,
Just 2.
oh,
And 1 hit back out. I mean,
wow.
Grey Havens may fall, which we mocked earlier, so I
It
guess
may, yeah.
good on him, but
And if we have to go into a whole nother round, again, Rivendell, extremely vulnerable.
yeah, next round Shadows Gather, Shadow Lengthens. Um that's a pretty good chance of taking.
So Quadratic is running out of time, and while it's true they only have one step left to go, they do need to dodge those red
He
tiles.
plays he plays Balrog just for the cycle to Black Captain.
Sure, of course you do.
And I mean that Black Captain gives you another attack on Grey Havens. You still have the Mouth's attack pending, so it doesn't really matter, but it could feel good. Yep, free people passes. No need to tip your hand. Or not that your hand needs tipping, but no need to make your move right now.
Uh-huh.
You're assumably going to have another half army move somewhere.
You know, if we awarded the world trophy based on excellent play rather than who wins, these two would just have to cut it in half right now.
Yeah, yeah. And as an interesting note, Generic Pie is pointing out in chat, Shadow has a lot of Attack the Fellowship cards, including all the Draw a Tile cards. I don't think a single one's been played or thrown. Shadow
Right, and
left
maybe
Dale open. Why?
uh I don't think it matters a whole lot, does it?
It'll just make you.
It ties in, I think, to what you were just saying. I think Gosagan probably realizes at this point that for as close as it seems, military victory is actually off the table now, and it has to be corruption. And so maybe what we're doing is we are digging for one of those cards. If we can find a Silder's Bane, or if we can find Foul Thing from the Deep, or Orc Patrol, or Breaking of the Fellowship, or whatever's still in there, um,
Yeah. And
maybe that's
I
the
do
only
remember
hope.
now breaking is not. He did throw that one earlier.
Sure, but Candles is in there.
Candles is in there.
There's a lot of good corruption cards
A
left.
muster and umbar. Yeah. Free people will now assumably also take Dale, which, I don't know. You're right, it almost certainly doesn't matter because we're no longer playing a cities game. It still feels weird to give a free point back to the free people.
Eh.
But whatever. Black
So
Captain
here
Command's
I'm
going to hop on over to Erebor. Okay.
sure that we'll be playing Foul Stench.
For the cycle. Yep.
Hmm. Because I think I'm sure Gosagan would love to have the points, but I think what really matters is the character cards.
Well, you know
now.
what really matters is Blade of Westerness right now. There is a
Sure, I
Hobbit in
guess.
Erebor, and he could stab the Witch King.
If you had Bilbo's song Ornithrocoat and Sting in your hand, would you play it for Blade of
No, but
Westerness or
it'd be
Fateful Strike
funny.
here?
I
Sure.
will. Daring Defiance is excellent here.
Yeah.
But rolling 3 hits for attack is very good. It doesn't
What happened
matter. The
here?
card was canceled.
What card was it? It was Shadows Gather. Yeah.
Yeah, once the cards stack, it's very hard to unstack them in this game. it's how it be.
Isn't it true that Loam adds another Blade of Westernness into the character deck?
It does. I don't
Or at
remember.
least, or maybe it's another Fateful Strike. I can't remember, but I always kind of like that change because, as is, the events on top of those combat effects are they're so good in the base game that you never really play it for the combat effect, even though the combat effect is cool.
It is true. And generic pie, that's not true. I wouldn't have field battled. I would have said field battle JK. But yeah, 3 incoming, 2 outgoing. That's not the kind of defeating Erebor right now rolls. And honestly, this was almost certainly just for a cycle anyway. Honestly, a little bit dangerous. You put the dwarves to war, and they can relieve the siege of Grey Havens.
I guess, but I don't know that you were ever going to take it anyway.
And actually, the dwarves are not at war. It was 1 to put them under siege, and then 1 to attack. Since you didn't win, they're not at war. So okay, they're correct. And Orc Patrol is drawn.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm dumb. I just realized Shadows Gather is a strategy card. GoSagan opted to cycle strategy.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Thank you, Vanali. Thanks for nothing, Vanali. Generic pie, I think we're okay. Only 1 attack to put Erebor under siege, and then 1 to attack because they didn't win. It's only 2 moves on the muster track, so I think we're good. I don't know why they would have gone down the track before now. But Vanali may jump in if that was not true at some point. Or you can shuffle back the replay and whine to us in a minute. I don't think it'll matter. 1 eye allocated, 1 eye rolled. What does the free people get? 2 movements, which is the not quite bare minimum, but close. First is obviously going to be a hide. Shadow did draw Corsairs of Umbar.
Now, if you're Shadow, I wish we could see the pool. You're gonna have to decide right now if Orc Patrol. Well, all right, you've decided, and oof. All right. Now, in a way, so that's bad. That's bad, but it actually does increase the odds of a red tile being pulled.
It does,
which
is true. If it had been the red eye, then we would really be sad. So yeah, free.
So I think
free has to move here, right? In case Shadow drew Sheila just now.
Oh yeah, and here it is.
Oh, it's a red.
That's that. Oh wow. Okay.
Still a
huge game. And now Foul Thing from the Deep could be played.
I believe it's not a reveal requirement, but yes. Oh yeah, Quadratic. That's a good point. You didn't shuffle the hunt pool. That was really your own fault.
Fellowship cannot destroy the ring anymore. Not this turn.
Correct.
Shadow has a whole nother round to try and find those points.
A lot of points to find, though. With 5
Rivendell
attacks,
and Erebor, I think.
5 attacks, and that's it. I mean, abstractly, Grey Havens and Erebor.
You've got Shadow Lengthens. I think this can be done. I would be sweating here if I were.
You're saying Rivendell?
Right. So I think you make use of Shadow Lengthens and the armies that you have to do Erebor and Rivendell, and then I think the counterplay from Free People, where you have to liberate something, is perhaps Aragorn comes out of Dol Amroth and liberates Pelargir, or just Minas Tirith does.
No, I would say Minas Tirith does that. There's certainly less dice. Yeah, you could use Shadow Lengthens and Shadow Gathers. He got rid of 1. Never mind. So he just has Shadow Lengthens.
He tossed Shadows Gather, yeah.
He has Corsairs. But he has Corsairs, so he could try and bust Aragorn.
He could try. I don't love taking my chances against the king.
Now.
But...
Yeah. I love it.
Well, now you're not playing Corsairs. Now you have
my friend, I promise. So. But we're having fun here. So, Grey Havens with a great host. Oh, wonderful.
You could still whiff if elves get a hit.
Come on. Miss for Shadow.
Nope, it's a hit. Look at that.
And there it goes. So what a bold. That Dunland army has done more than it had any right to do. And actually, as soon
Fire
as you
Toad
attack
says,
Erebor, the dwarves will be at war, which could be a big deal.
yeah, yeah. Fire Toad says in chat that fun is the number one goal of this game, which, while I would generally agree with, this is the finals of the World Tournament. This is about winning.
Yeah. Greyhaven's from Eredlun. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are the dwarves at war?
Uh,
We need to actually identify this.
yeah.
We'll double check this.
I'm trying to think. Should they be? Erebor has taken one hit. I
Vanali, can
don't
you
think they
definitely
are.
jump in for us on this?
It looks like they're discussing it. They'll figure it out.
Okay.
When did dwarves get their last bump?
Okay, well, the players agree, so I'm probably just wrong. And Generic Pie thought so, so that's the real deciding factor.
Black Captain.
Black Captain would have definitely put them at war. Yep. Oh, he tokened them once. There you go. Generic Pie was right. All right, good.
Okay.
Shadow lengthens. Yep. Okay, not shadow lengthens. So a regular attack on Erebor, which is not like crazy to fall. The onslaught is daring defiance into nothing. 1 hit from Shadow, 2 hits from Shadow. Just one out coming from free.
I really am a little surprised that GoSagan isn't cycling character cards harder than this. Shelob's not in the pool yet, is she?
Correct.
You could still find that.
Yeah. Did Shadow take their hit there? I assume they did. I'm going to assume that they're following that. A desperate battle. There's the 3 hits. And 2 hits back, so Erebor falls. But Shadow does not have enough dice to take another stronghold except Dol Amroth.
Yeah.
And he can Shadow lengthens the Pelargir army there. So, but he has to start moving now. And Free still has 2 hybrids, so they can retake Pelargir from Minas Tirith if the whole army goes. And honestly, it's still a pretty near thing that they could just do that. So
you could still Corsairs from
1.
Okay.
So 1 corruption, we'll take it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good result for GoSagan. GoSagan could Corsairs to Pelargir
Yes.
to defend it.
Yes, and I can't imagine he won't.
We redraw into Ringwraiths or Abroad. Great for your military, but I still think you're probably looking for corruption.
And incidentally, he's out of stronghold or strategy cards.
Yeah, that's it.
Power 2 Great was played earlier for a no quarter, so Rivendell is a possible target. Still.
Tom Bombadil's still out there.
True that. I do think Free should move to Osgiliath now. Yep. Give themselves the option with their last die of retaking Pelargir. I wonder if you bring everybody. Probably not. Yeah, you shouldn't, because Ringwraiths Are Abroad is still available. Okay, phew. And what do you do with the other half move? Nothing.
I wonder if there is a possibility to maximize your chances that you give a ring to. So I don't know if I like this, but maybe you give a ring to Hyde with the Fellowship so that you can move next turn before Shadow can put in a red tile if they happen to draw one.
I think you would do that if you had the time. I think you're not going to. Well, real fast. I think this other half move, I think you should put your army back into Dale. From Woodland Realm. But Shadow is about to Corsairs to take Dol Amroth, and that's game. So you have to retake Pelargir with this last die.
Uh, uh, Wait. I'm sorry. Say that again. You have to take Pelargir because why?
Shadow's about to Corsairs, which will attack Dol Amroth, and if they win,
I suppose. Um, do we think they will win?
I think you have to assume they will as free.
Yeah, it's a spicy army to have to fight, but you're probably right.
Because and you know they have Corsairs because the entire strategy deck has been drawn, and you can know whether it was discarded at some level. You assume they didn't
Right.
discard Corsairs due to hand limit.
They have missed a hit in Erebor.
Yeah, they. I'm assuming Vanali's following up with them. There was a. I was somewhat confident a hit happened that didn't happen that should have. Yeah, we are now coming up on almost 3 hours of playing a game at the world level. Everyone's brain should be dribbling out their ears.
I've been running a fever this whole time.
Yeah, and sorry to thank you to Sirius for showing up sick and doing such a great job.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. I don't care. I'm gonna collapse after this, but for now, I'm wide awake.
Um, yep, I do think Woodland Realm to Dale, both for the protection against a retake of Dale and for the theoretical retake of Erebor. I guess it's not too many retakes, but it feels like it. Yep, there it is.
You know. So now we are gonna come down to it. I assume that Shadow is going to stall on that play of Corsairs because you don't want to tip your hand too much. Like you said, it is inferable that they have it, but people make mistakes. So you don't want to do that until the very last play.
You could.
So then it'll come down. Sorry.
Or you could just assume they know it and get an extra set of attacks. Oh, yeah, you do this and you get the Witch King there. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
And you get an attack. Ooh. But with only 5 guys, you might get wiped to an Anduril.
Oh.
I guess you don't have to attack. You can get 2 moves.
No.
You could move Umbar to West Hirondor to protect against the I don't know what you would do here with 2 moves.
So as free people, I think you're right. You do have to attack Pelargir just in case the dice turn against you in Dol Amroth. But I think we can probably agree that free people should win that fight. 3 elites, 5 regulars is good, but it's a lot of hit points. It's a lot of leadership. It's got Aragorn. It's got Gimli. It's gonna be just a tough fight.
Shadow undoes playing Ringwraiths are abroad. Interesting, and just flat moves Nazgul unrelated to the card. I suppose if you weren't going to use the attack or the moves, you might as well. And then now we're back into the state of Quadratic. Does Quadratic infer Corsairs?
You know, Shadow even could have just milled their deck. Draw a character card. Look for something that'll help.
Yeah, I think Quadratic sees it though, so it looks like, and definitely you shouldn't feed the Shadow. Yep. Looking forward to Corsairs. Yep. GoSagan says, "Me too." Having drawn the entire deck, I'm not sure that bluff is going to work. Yep.
What I was saying a moment ago is I think maybe GoSagan should have drawn the character deck. I think that if DA goes really well, congratulations, you win the game. But if it doesn't, or if DA retakes Pelargir, you have to go yet another round. And so I might be working on maximizing my chances of a corruption victory.
Yes. Agreed. Yes. Sorry.
GoSagan has military faith.
And
so
there's the Shadow falls and Pelargir is retaken. But it does quite a bit of damage on the way back. Faramir has very much shown his mettle this game.
Heck yeah.
And Shadow is back down to 7 points for what, the fourth time?
Yeah, I think you draw a character card here. I don't think you play Corsairs.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Depends on how
If
desperate
you
you're
if
feeling.
you
Oh, you play Wormtongue. Sure.
I mean, okay.
uh, I guess you can do that. I think technically it immediately clears,
Yeah.
but doesn't matter.
So GoSagan did get something
Not candles.
useful. Candles. You will have a chance to play it before free people can move. So
One eye
expected
allocated,
damage on
two eyes rolled.
candles is
Two eyes rolled is what you want. So eyes are deadly now. Now, and that's enough attacks that the fellowship can't. Oh, never mind. Now fellowship rolls. Okay, 2 moves. That is enough attacks for Shadow that the free people can't just hide and then hope for the best.
yeah. Maybe.
I guess
If you
they could
look at
reshape
Shadow's
Erebor.
Well, if you look at Shadow's position, it's not great militarily. I think you really might consider.
Ooh, 1 hit
Oh,
from candles.
oh no.
Man, I wonder what the hunt pool is. And Shadow gets to draw again. Palantir of Orthanc, the real MVP of this game. Lure of the Ring, another. If the Fellowship moves and then reveals to take less corruption on a red tile, I don't think that would matter because the reds all kill them. Bilbo's song is abstractly still out there. There is another way, was already played.
Quadratic may end up looking for it.
3 of the 4 blue tiles are available.
Mithril's
And Mithril
available.
Code is still available. Yep, he's looking for it. That's a good play
Yeah.
for the one corruption, or for the one thing, especially when Shadow has no more character dice. Rivendell is threatened, which makes sense.
Yeah, you got to be so careful. I think
you
if
attack
Rivendell falls,
Erebor here? So you put Erebor under siege with a military move here, and then just kind of wait and see what happens.
pass first.
Yeah, kind of pass it down and make the Shadow want it, you know?
Yeah.
Because even if he like consolidates all of the armies in Rohan to attack Minas Tirith, you have elites to muster yet. Shadow needs 3 points, so Pelargir and a stronghold. So Rivendell and Pelargir could theoretically happen.
Yeah, and you can just Corsairs to Pelargir. Oh, or you can save it for the Deadly Strife and
Or you
take
could
it
try
like
cheating
that.
and just moving too far. No.
Cheating works, yeah.
You just muster in Minas Tirith here. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Regular. Okay, fine. And then a regular in
The-
Pelargir. Or Dale. Oh, yep. A regular in Dale is excellent too. You gonna leave Faramir to dry out in Pelargir? Let him die there to some Oliphaunts?
I think you're gonna have a chance to see if you actually need to take back Erebor, and you can give it a try, and if you succeed, then that's awesome, and you can stall a bit in Mordor, and if you fail, you can just attempt to destroy the ring.
Yep. Absolutely. So Shadow's attacking Pelargir. Great. They take it. Oh, not quite yet. Gondor does a cheeky little 1 damage on the swing back. I assume you retreat here to prevent the half move, theoretically. I guess. Ooh. Then you muster in Minas Tirith and Lossarnach.
I mean,
Eh,
why?
maybe, I guess. Never mind. Do you put Erebor under siege and then go for it with your last hybrid, or at least to have that available to you, I guess?
Yeah, I think so.
By no means a guaranteed fight up there either, though.
No, but I think it does make sense because you don't know that Rivendell is going to hold against that army. It very well may not. You
I
do
think
know
Minas
that they
Tirith
still
is your
have.
bigger worry here. Never mind with 3 attacks showing.
Ah,
All 3 would have to be exactly and only there. Talk about the dew line being a pain in the butt.
Right. Yeah, we talked about
Oh, there's the hunt
what's
pool.
scary is what. Oh yeah.
So 4 tiles, 5
So
tiles are deadly.
that's
5
not
out
great
of
odds.
11, 10. 5 out of 10, basically a coin flip.
What's very scary is you might
Asgiliath, why are
have
you
to
attacking
move.
Asgiliath? I don't understand that. Uh,
It may be to prevent a lateral move from Osgiliath into Minas Tirith. If they go to Losternac and then Osgiliath goes to Minas Tirith, it's a harder
but he
sell.
could retreat to West Herondor and take Umbar, which would be funny and very bad.
Uh, True.
Actually, oh no, Shadow has musters. He almost has enough to free people's military victory in Dol Guldur. But anyway,
Yeah, as close as we've been to it this whole time, I don't think a Free
no,
People's
no.
Military Victory is on the table today.
So Shadow has to spend 2 dice attacking somewhere, and now that he's emptied Umbar, Corsairs doesn't do anything meaningful. Yeah, you attack
Yep.
Erebor and just see if you get it, see if you don't. It doesn't really matter.
It matters because if you don't get it, you have a difficult choice to make with that character die. You're gonna have to guess how your last battle with Shadow goes, and then based on that guess, decide whether or not you want to risk the coin flip.
Yes, but I think this is the correct move to decide to find out whether you need to make that decision.
Right, I agree. I'm just saying that it does matter that you do this, I think.
And while he's not strictly said, I think we all understand that Gandalf is not shining, seeing as how shining would do literally nothing here. Um, there are no Nazgul in the battle, so Words of Power can not be played. Words of Power cannot be played. There are no Nazgul.
Uh, there we go, they caught it.
Good, good, good.
Or Vanali caught it and poked someone, who knows?
Okay, so yep, the correct the tournament response is that if you play an illegal card, you have in fact played no card.
That's rough.
So mighty attack, that's not a very mighty attack. That is an extremely not mighty attack. But 1 hit, 2 outcoming from the defense. Where was that Spirit of Mordor card here? Free is probably going to lose. Well, I guess Free can't lose both elites because they really want to press here.
Yeah. Ooh boy.
They lose 2 regulars. Okay, they're intending to have 2 presses with less dice, I guess. I understand the concept. I'm not sure I strictly agree, but I have not the brain power
It's
for it.
it is correct. I think it's more dice to roll, more possible hits.
As long as the shadow doesn't. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. So, do you have any dice or any cards left? Free has 2 characters in a strat. He plays the strat.
Shadow really doesn't have anything
Valor.
useful.
Hey, Dane Iron Guards. Iron
I got you.
Guard in Erebor. That's great. All right. It did not make a difference. It did make a difference.
It did. It did make a difference. Yeah.
2 coming back out though. It's
Oh.
coming down to the last regular.
Oh, yikes.
Press.
Are you kidding me?
That's
I can't
hilarious.
take this. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
No card, no card. Who can roll a 6?
Odds are in Shadow's favor here. Shadow only needs a 5.
There's the
Quadratic
6.
gets the hit on the reroll. Oh,
But they both die,
oh my word.
which is actually pretty important. It's not that important, but
No, it's huge. So now, GoSagan has 2 moves. GoSagan will either put Minas Tirith under siege or will put Rivendell under siege. And then Quadratic will have to guess whether or not they think they can hold. And if they don't think that they can, They have to try to destroy the ring right now. And if they do think that they can hold, and they're wrong, they
That's
lose.
game. Yep. And he has Shadow Lengthens if he attacks Minas Tirith for a bonus from the Mumakil. But that's a tight roll.
It's a very tight roll, but it could happen.
Oh, he has a Deadly Strife.
Quadratic,
he has a Deadly Strife. And more hit points than his opponent.
Quadratic knows that those cards are in the hand either way. I think it comes down to this. You have to try to destroy the ring.
Yeah, a Deadly Strife in hand is not something you want to mess around with. Although, I mean, I definitely don't know the chances he hits all three and you don't, and the chances he hits all three, I guess, is what? Effectively 1
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. 4 out of 9 is the odds. 5 out of 9 for Quadratic. So it's better than the coin flip, but only just. Any eyes, and GoSagan wins. Any tiles, GoSagan wins. Any threes, GoSagan wins.
If you're free, if you had a heroic death, although I suspect he doesn't, you would be not guaranteed to survive a Deadly Strife in Minas Tirith because they could press, theoretically.
You'd have to last 2 rounds, yeah.
It'd be another siege like up in the north where it's down to the last regular.
So, if Quadratic moves here, then Quadratic needs a 0 or a 1 to win.
Correct.
Anything else, and the win goes to GoSagan.
Yeah, and no quibbles about it. It's no, well, we go to another round or whatever.
He's still kind of weighing his odds here. It is tricky.
Yes, Generic Pie, we are playing the Coins of Middle-earth expansion, where you flip a coin and find out who wins.
Both players have played so hard to get these odds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
Generic Pie, I believe that it's actually slightly balanced towards free right now. No, I'm wrong.
4 tiles. Yeah, 4 tiles to dunk, 5 to knock.
Yeah. Oh, this is a hard call. How do you even... Oh, boy.
You know the Shadow has a Deadly Strife. If you do. If you're thinking that. So 6.
Yeah, I think he knows.
So, and he remembered that Corsairs was in the game earlier, so maybe he has retained that. Maybe he hasn't. Oof.
You would really be hoping, if you didn't move... I don't think you could stall next round because Isildur's Bane is still in the deck. And that could just kill you outright.
True.
So even if you like Elven Ring to draw a card here, let's say, I don't think you'll have time to play it. So you would really just be hoping that Shadow only rolls 1 eye, and therefore the eye is non-lethal.
Now, there is an important thing Quadratic needs to not forget here, and that is he needs to shuffle the hunt pool before he moves.
It's happening, I think. I think we're doing it.
I think we're calling it at 3 hours.
This is for the title of World Champion, this last play.
A 44% chance to dunk.
There's still time to take it back until that move button is pressed.
Until he enacts the move. If I was playing this game personally, I would definitely play the battle out or the draw out, whichever I don't do. Just for the fun.
Okay. Both players kind of...
Now, Quadratic, don't forget to shuffle. Oh, no. Hey!
That's it! Quadratic
dunks.
is the world champion.
Good job. Congratulations, Quadratic.
Oh.
Consolations to GoSagan. It was an excellent game, and second place is nothing to be sad about.
What a game.
Holy cow.
Oh,
Oh,
I feel like my whole like all the tension in my body just released.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Crazy. Huh.
Oh, man. All right. Well, with that, I know I am about tapped out. I know our players are tapped out. Thank you, Cirrus, for joining me. Thank you,
Yeah, thank
Vanali, for
you.
being our judge. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in the live chat. And if you're watching afterwards, thank you as well. I'll see you all in the next one.
Great. Thanks so much, everyone.